I would you like, I would ask if you would care to ask a question.
Yes, would the senator yield for a question?
I will yield for a question, thank you.
I thank the gentleman for yielding and for your extraordinary speech and all that you have elucidated today, and for your powerful advocacy on behalf of our democracy. I think there are any number of signs of when a democracy is in trouble, when a country is descending into a kind of dictatorship. And books have been written about this subject. No one account, I think, can comprise all of the elements of the deterioration of a democracy, but there are certain telltale signs that I think we are seeing all too clearly. And my question goes to some of the things that we are witnessing that I think are hallmarks of the decline of a democracy, and that ought to be sounding a three-alarm fire for the American people. And let me begin with a few of them. First is the misuse of the military at home and abroad. When a president begins to use a military for impermissible purposes, when a president deploys American forces in violation of the law to American cities, when a president assembles top leadership, flag officers, generals, admirals, and tells them that our cities are to be military training grounds, that there is an enemy within, it is as sure as anything a sign of a democracy in trouble, of a democracy in decline. When troops are repelling from Black Hawk helicopters, not in Somalia, but in Chicago, it is the most visible sign of a democracy in trouble. This is, as we all know, in violation of the law which prohibits the use of our military for domestic law enforcement purposes. Likewise, the misuse of the military abroad without the authorization of Congress, another sign of the deterioration of our democracy, when a president arrogates to himself the power to blow ships up in the Caribbean or now in the Pacific without any authority, in violation of law and constitution. It is another sign of the president arrogating the military power to himself, to the person of himself, not to the Constitution, not to his core responsibilities, but to himself. Number two, among the dozen or so most virulent signs of the decline of our democracy, of the risk of an authoritarian regime taking hold in this country, are the attacks on our universities. We see this in Hungary and elsewhere, when rulers start to attack the independence, the academic freedom of our universities. It is a sure sign of a democracy in trouble when a president tries to dictate by withholding federal funds the lifeblood of research universities, withholds those funds unless an academic institution agrees to adopt its cultural agenda, or to fire certain faculty, or to allow it to have some kind of a monitor, some kind of a big brother overseeing what takes place in our universities. It is a sign of a democracy in decline. Number three, when an administration, when a ruler goes after the right of representation by attacking lawyers, law firms, legal professionals, and saying, "Thou shalt not represent this cause which is deeply unpopular to me. You shall not take on this client who is antagonistic to me. You shall not hire this lawyer who is a personal enemy of mine." That is antithetical to the history of our democracy and all democracies. John Adams, prior to the president, took on one of the most unpopular cases in American history, representing British soldiers who participated in the Boston Massacre. And why did he do that? Why take on such an unpopular cause? Because he understood the importance to a democracy of the right of representation. Number four of the signs that our democracy is in deep, deep trouble is the abuse of the Justice Department to go after the president's enemies and to protect his friends. It is in actions like in the state of Virginia, the firing of a U.S. attorney who believes that a prosecution is not warranted, notwithstanding the personal injunction of the president that thou must prosecute these people. That prosecutor is fired and another brought in to implement the president's will to go after his enemies. But it is also likewise a sign of the loss of democracy when the powers of the Justice Department can be used to protect the president's friends. When a Justice Department can be told, you shall not look further into the $50,000 in bribe money taken from a top White House official. Close down that investigation. You shall look no further into the corruption of the mayor of New York. Close down that investigation because that mayor is useful to the administration politically. That is as sure a sign as anything that we no longer have an independent Justice Department, but one in the thrall of the White House. Number 5, suppression of free speech. Suppression of free speech. Something not just in any amendment, but in our First Amendment. When an administration uses its power to coerce an ABC to pay him personally, or coerces a CBS to pay him personally for the right to continue its broadcast license, or for the opportunity of its parent to have a merger. These are overt efforts to censor the press. When it uses its regulatory power and threats to try to take off the air a comedian or two comedians, it is a sure sign of the loss of press freedom. And equally we see in other repressive regimes an effort to concentrate power, to concentrate the media itself in the hands of friendly oligarchs, or to create a kind of state-run media, which we are deeply at risk of, and we see in the development of TikTok and the force of power of the government to decide who the future owners of TikTok will be, to make sure that they are of the same political persuasion as the president, or we see reflected in the oligarchic control of Twitter, now X, or we see in organizations that are buying up stations like Sinclair and using its mass power for the purpose of censorship. Next, in a declining democracy, in a budding autocracy, we see the demonization of vulnerable communities. And what could be more visible in America today than the demonization of immigrant communities by this administration? The demonization of the other, the false portrait of people who come to this country as all murderers and rapists and drug smugglers. The demonization of some of the most vulnerable people in America, also in the LGBT community and the trans community. We see this time and time again in history, in countries becoming dictatorships, that they build their power on the backs of people they dehumanize. We're seeing at home another powerful sign of a budding authoritarianism, of a growing authoritarianism, and that is the use of propaganda, the use of taxpayer money for propaganda. You see banners with the president's glowering face now on public buildings in violation of law. You see Christi doing Hollywood-looking produced ads that are played at airports, falsely blaming Democrats for the shutdown, political propaganda paid for by you, the taxpayer, or highly produced immigration videos featuring Christi thanking the president, more political propaganda. Another sign of the decline of our democracy, of the growth of our authoritarian regime, is the corrupt use of government power for self-enrichment. This we saw from the very first days of this administration. The meme coin dinners, in which the premises of the White House are used, but private donors are encouraged to buy the president's meme coin, a cut of which the president gets, using the power, the prestige of that office, sometimes even the venue of that office, to enrich himself. The receipt of aircraft, $400 million aircraft from Qatar, a nation that has a keen interest in U.S. policy.
Call for engine 11, medic 14.
The president acquiring the plane in plain violation of the emoluments clause. Soliciting private donors for ballrooms of the real estate deals, emoluments clause. Rampant conflicts of interest, the crypto money coming in from the Gulf to the first family. The use of government power and position for corruption and self-enrichment. Another powerful sign of a democracy in decline is the usurpation of Congress's power of the purse. The illegal withholding of funding, the impoundment of funding, the illegal rescission of funding, the illegal termination of grants, and I would say beyond that, the mass firing of federal employees, the lawless firing of federal employees, the use of Congress's power to appropriate money, one of the most important powers, arguably the most important power we have, now taken by the administration. There's not a fight in this body. Certainly not a bipartisan fight.
California.
That is surely a sign that we are losing our democracy. The undermining of elections and voting. Another key ingredient in dictators around the world cementing their position in power is the undermining of the foundational right to vote. We see it in its various forms now. We see it in this push to engage in gerrymandering around the country. But we see it in closing down of polling stations in urban areas. We see it in efforts to suppress the vote of certain communities. We see it in the purging of voter rolls. We see it in affirmative efforts to discourage people from voting. We see it in the demonization of election workers, the interference with election boards.
2025 GMC quarter pickup shows to be a rental.
And finally, although the list is much longer, I would end with this. The attack on truth itself. The attack on facts, the attack on science, the purging of people from our scientific agencies, the rampant falsehood, the fire hose of falsehood coming out of the White House and our agencies, daily provable, palpable falsehood, eroding the very idea of truth and fact. If you can persuade people that nothing is true, then what are we to use to decide who should govern? If there is no shared experience, then how do we decide what policy should be? How do we avoid just falling back on political tribe or worse, political violence? If there is no truth, if there is no fact, if there is no accountability. And so, Senator Merkley, I thank you for shedding a light on the risk.
Welcome to Mr. Tech, the place where gigantic industrial crushers with their extraordinary power can destroy everything from metal to cars in just a few seconds. These machines not only recycle, but also showcase the incredible strength of modern CI 7000 is a hydraulic machine specially designed to destroy and cut heavy metals like bulldozer blades. The forces exerted on the cutting edges and connection surfaces are incredibly powerful, like an adult man tearing through a cardboard sheet. It's the kind of power that blows your mind.
Issues that might be raised one that I did fire hose of falsehoods.
Watch as these monstrous machines crush everything in their path, from the tiniest scrap to the most massive metal chunks.
And added into that toxic is a whole lot of just basic
Hundreds of tons of
propaganda
pressure
and
unleashed,
belong.
turning metal debris into fine particles. This is recycling at its most extreme.
Because she wanted it played in airports all around the country. She said, no, it's breaking the law. It's breaking the Hatch Act. It's breaking the Anti-Lobbying Act. It's breaking some other act on the list. And in this situation, where the administration does not care what the law whatever the hell we want. And then we see the deliberate...
Watch as it mercilessly crushes an entire car with ease, compressing it into a flat slab of metal, ready for the next phase of recycling.
An authoritarian government
Let your e-waste pile up. Choose the RS 150 for a cleaner, greener future. 77,000 foot-pounds of torque. The motor grinder is here, ready to crush metal like never before. Its raw strength and high-speed capabilities take grinding to a whole new level.
consistent violence of this administration. That's authoritarian. We are deep into this authoritarian crisis.
Metal in its path.
Close behind me says, ring the alarm bell. I thank you for
Process materials such as metal, plastic, rubber, and other components from end-of-life vehicles. EL.
7 million people who went out and
This demolition machine.
because what we know is if we do not confront tyranny in its first year, and if we do not find a way to have a strong survival in the next election, then it becomes our responsibility to not let that happen. Thank you.
I'll take it one
And I notice we have a colleague from Vermont on the floor. If the colleague might be interested in asking a question,
I'll David one Adam, admin for traffic.
I would yield for a question.
How are you managing to do this? You've been up all night, and your staff too. It is really, really quite extraordinary.
Well, thank you for the question.
Hi, one Adam,
I am on the verge
And the
of
staff.
Nursing party in the 13 year
going to wrap up
He has
this effort.
two
I'm
firearms
so
in
pleased
his
that so many had been able to come from the caucus and help ring the alarm bell. Because this is the most perilous moment for our republic since
You'll
the
have
Civil
to review the
War.
rap sheet in your email.
And never did I expect to be in my mind. I thought, yes, we argue over housing policy. How can we best have a decent home and a decent community? And yes, we argue over education policy. And how can it be a pathway for every child to have a full and productive life? All these foundations. Oh, another question. I would yield for another question. Yes, I would.
All right, well,
Make it a long one.
I'll make it a longish one, but I want to join in my colleagues in expressing to you our gratitude for this incredible physical effort that reflects not just your intellectual engagement, but your deep passion and the care you have for the Oregonians that you have been serving so well for so long. It's really been just, for me, a wonderful opportunity being a new member of the Senate. Along with Senator Schiff, I know you feel the same way, to be working with somebody like the senator from Oregon, who's just honest and true and totally grounded in your commitment to the people that you serve, in the Constitution that all of us serve. It's just a gratifying experience for us to be your colleague. One thing that I want to talk about is tariffs and who has the authority to impose tariffs and what the implications are. Because what I'm seeing is that our farm economy is really being devastated by tariffs. Let's talk about Midwest farmers. They're proud folks, like the dairy farmers in Vermont. And they used to have markets. The thing they love to do is have purchasing power by tilling the land, family farm operations that would be passed down from generation to generation. They really didn't want a lot of government involvement or interference, so they wanted to be able to grow their crops. And what I'm seeing is that the Trump administration embrace of tariffs has resulted in the total collapse of the markets that used to be available to our Midwest farmers, including the China market. And you know, last year our farmers sold about 30 or 40% of their soybean crops to China. They haven't sold a bushel. Okay, they haven't sold a bushel. And there's now talk by Trump of taking revenue from the tariffs to pay farmers a subsidy. And I get it that farmers need it, but wouldn't it make more sense to let farmers sell the crop that they grow rather than have a tariff that prohibits them from selling to markets they have had? And the second thing I noticed, and I'm really interested in this because rural America is the heart of America. You know, the wonderful community values folks have, family values, hard work, service. We've got a billionaire who's the Secretary of the Treasury, and my understanding, I don't know how you, I guess if you're a billionaire, you'll own lots of things in lots of different places, but he apparently owns lots of farmland out in the West. But his major new initiative is to take $40 billion of our money to bail out the Argentine peso. So maybe you can explain to me how that's going to help our Midwest farmers. A stronger bailed out peso from Secretary Pheasant, and how the Pheasant policy on tariffs is going to give any kind of lifeline to those family farms that have been so much part of our heritage, who do so much for the well-being of our country, and whose prosperity is so essential to the well-being of our whole country. Farmers like to feed people. They like to work hard. They don't want to bail out. They don't want to hand out. And we've got the tariff policies that are wrecking the markets, and then we've got a bailout that's going to Argentina that's going to further erode the ability of our farmers to sell their product. Because, oh, by the way, the Argentinian farmers are now going into the markets we're helping them create that have been opened up as a result of denying access to those markets for our Midwest farmers. So perhaps you could explain to me how this makes sense.
From my colleague from Vermont, and I must say soybeans have come up several times today, as has Argentina. And this is so troubling. Now, I'll tell you, when I met with my Farm Bureau, everyone has a little bit of queasiness, even if tariffs haven't touched them yet. But the tariffs are changing all the time. And how might it suddenly affect the market if it's made to changes or input or so forth? Everyone in the agricultural world is terrified that if they lose their market, even temporarily, those relationships deteriorate. New relationships are forged. It's hard to get people back. If you've let people down once, then what happens next? And so this situation, this double deal, I guess I'll call it, with Argentina, where by us having a trade war with China, so China doesn't buy a single bean. You said not a single bushel, and I've heard, yep, nothing. And so Senator Murray of Washington was down here saying, we've got all these beans that only travel from Washington State to get exported. Where the hell are they going to be stored? I don't know. But what I do know is that a lot of folks aren't going to resell them, may not have a place to store here. I look forward to learning more about what's going to happen to this massive crop that there's no customer for because China went to Argentina. And then you mentioned the second part of the Argentina deal, that the president says, you know what, I want to bail out this far-right government down there because they're in trouble. We don't want to let a far-right government be in trouble. And $20 billion and maybe $40 billion. Think of how much money that is. That's $100 for every single person in the United States of America. You know, if I went door to door in Oregon and personally asked everybody, would you like to give $100 to Argentina? You know how many takers I'd have? I think I've got 0 takers. And by the way, where is the legislation that gives the president the power to give $20 billion or $40 billion to Argentina? I haven't looked it up yet. I'm going to look it up. But I think it's exactly a feature of an authoritarian government that he wants to self out a fellow authoritarian government, but with a twist. And the twist is that apparently a group of well-placed colleagues, maybe friends of the Treasury Secretary, I believe I may have read, I won't say that definitively, they bought up some of the debt in Argentina. And they bought it at a discount, is my understanding. And again, I have not double-checked this, so I'm saying it with some caution. But what happens when you do that, and then there's a bailout, and you get face value? Let's say you paid 25 cents on the dollar, and you get face value after bailout, and you make 400% return. Well, that's great for the riches of whoever they are, that America, that Trump wants to help out. I would yield, it has to be in the form of a question, but I would yield for a question.
So here's my question. Is this really a bailout for the financiers on Wall Street who
turning off Linux voice control
at 20 cents on the dollar, but may get paid $1 on a dollar? Or is this just flat out enrichment? They didn't lose. They're winning as other people suffer. So is this really a bailout or just a flat out, hey fellas, here's $40 billion. I love you, Donald Trump.
Well, thank you for that question. And I must say, it reminds me of a town hall because every now and then I realize I'm way over my head in what I actually know to be the facts. So I'm going to stop before I dig a deeper hole because I have not personally researched it, read up on it. I've heard a variety of comments, almost in passing, from colleagues who are so disturbed about this arrangement, disturbed about what's going to happen with soybeans, disturbed that China's buying them from Argentina, disturbed that so we're having to bail out to Argentina, and disturbed that they have heard that a lot of that money may come back to some very rich people in the United States of America. But I do not know the details. And I'm going to leave it as a bit of a conjecture. And when we talk soon, I'll have the answers.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'll yield back to the senator.
Thank you. I notice my colleague from Illinois has returned to the floor. If he would like to, I'd be happy to entertain a question should he have one.
I thank my colleague from Oregon for his endurance and determination. Hang in there. You're bringing up a critical issue and subject for America at a critical moment. And I'd like to return to an issue we discussed this morning when I was visiting, and that's the issue of the militarization of our federal government and its impact on states like yours, Oregon, and mine of Illinois. What I'm finding as I read the newspaper accounts is that the ICE operation from the Department of Homeland Security in Illinois continues to intimidate people who live in the city, in their neighborhoods and all around, and really bring fear. There are parts of the city of Chicago, Little Village and Pilsen are the ones most well known.
Because the protocol team is not sure whether you asked me if I would yield for a question.
It's a legitimate point. Will you yield for a question?
I will yield
through the
for
chair.
a question. Thank you.
So the point I'm trying to make is that there are areas of the city of Chicago, and I'm sure in your state of Oregon, where the intimidation factor has reached a point where people are worried about literally going to church, going to work, taking their kids to school. It's a genuine problem. Just last week, an individual took his child to daycare, left the motor running in his car, and took the little toddler into daycare, came out the door and was arrested and detained and removed from that scene specifically while the motor was still running in his car. That's the kind of thing that is happening. It isn't as if they're targeting criminals. They're after people who look like they're Hispanic, and there are many who live in our city, and I'm glad to have them. They're wonderful people. So I'd like to ask in your state what kind of intimidation, if any, has taken place through this military operation of the president.
Thank the senator from Illinois for the question. And as you're telling this story, I was thinking about a story from Oregon. In which a woman who has been there for a long time. She has legal status in the United States. Her mother visits from Honduras, and her sister lives in Canada. So there is a park on the border between Washington State and Canada where people can go into the park and meet. They have to leave by the same entry they came in. And they've done this before, and so her mother gets to be with her, and then with her sister, the three of them, and 4 children, 7-year-old triplets and a 9-year-old, I believe. And so, and the children are U.S. citizens. So they do what they've done before. They go up to meet the Canadian sister in this park. And while they're hunting, she gets arrested. Arrested why? For smuggling her sister into the U.S. But they're in this park that is set up for that purpose. And she is still being held. The children were released, and they are with a family friend. And the grandmother was released, the mother's mother. And but the mother, Jackie, the mother of the 4 American children, she's still being held. And we keep protesting, writing, calling, and she's still being held. The case against her was dropped. Why? Because you can't arrest somebody for hugging in a park set up for that purpose. This is my understanding of the case. But think about how that story says everyone's at risk all the time. Everyone's at risk. And so there is fear and trepidation. And individuals who have their documentation are afraid that they may make a move that may lead to some extended family member or someone else who has documentation being arrested, just like this woman had documentation. And so it's a regime of fear. And the argument Trump made was that when someone is here and undocumented and they do a violent act, they're going to be deported. And I don't think many Americans would argue with that. But we should also recognize that our immigrants commit violent acts at a lower rate than native-born Americans. Like portraying immigrants with this false story of criminals, rapists, murderers, and so forth is simply, well, to quote a district judge on a different topic, untethered to the facts. And we are in a deeply disturbing period where more children are being separated, communities are being terrorized, and I think how you have brought forward time and time again that we needed to resolve the status for dreamers in a more solid way and put bills forward, and we just fell short time, and how many times? 6 times? I'm not sure. Or more. And this body can't even come together and address children brought here through no fault of their own, who know no other country, who speak no other language, who grew up here and are productive citizens. Many of them that when we first started, I was first aware of it, so long ago that they might have been little kids. Now they may be out of high school, out of college, fully employed in the community, and still we haven't resolved their status so they can be kind of feel fully productive members of our community.
Yield.
I will yield for a question.
Over the course of my service in the Senate, one of the things that I was proudest of, still proud of, was the formation of the so-called Gang of 8, 4 Republicans and 4 Democrats, who sat down to write a comprehensive immigration reform bill. Senator McCain led the effort on the Republican side. Senator Schumer joined me with others on the Democratic side. And we produced a measure that had support of business and labor and Democrats and Republicans, brought it to the floor of the United States Senate and passed it with over 60 votes. It was a glorious day. It was a day of great celebration. What was it all about? It was all about the 11 million undocumented people in the United States coming forward and registering with this government who they are, where they live, and they pay a fine for coming to this country without documentation. They then don't automatically become citizens, but they are allowed to work, they wouldn't be deported, and they can live a normal life paying their taxes and doing what people who live in this country do normally. It was an attempt to try to regularize the situation, to account for the 11 million, and to say that that was going to be an accounting which would give us some stability in this country on the issue of immigration. And the fact was, it would have done just that. And unfortunately, it was never taken up by the Republican leadership in the House of Representatives. So we passed it here in the Senate. It included the DREAM Act, and it was a step forward. I contrast it today to what we're faced with. Full-scale battles and war going over immigration in cities across this country. It's unnecessary. There are ways to resolve this fairly, humanely, and in an American fashion. And I hope the senator from Oregon agrees with me. It's time for us to sit down and do this. Hiring more ICE agents is not going to resolve the issue of immigration. Having a law that is enforceable and rational and humane and American in its nature is the best way as far as I'm concerned. And I ask the senator for his
Control 101, I'll be.
Thank you, Senator. I do not only agree, but I so admire what you accomplished, and it's so frustrating. Why can't we accomplish that again? And I know one of our members worked hard with a colleague across the aisle to do a bill that may have been a slimmer version, and President Trump, then candidate Trump, said, don't take that immigration bill forward last year because he wanted to keep this as an election issue. If people want to keep chaos rather than to solve problems, how are we to address a better path forward for our nation, a more productive path? So I hope what you accomplish can be reinvented. I'm not sure that I have any confidence that it is possible, maybe harder now than it was then, but let's try. And you have my full backing in that effort.
I'd like to just make one last comment, if I
And I'll
can,
yield for a question.
in the nature of a question. Just a few feet away from where we're in the chamber is my Capitol office, and on my credenza behind my desk is my mother's naturalization certificate for all to see. I'm a proud immigrant. She came to this country at the age of 2. Her mother did not speak English, but brought 3 children on a boat from Germany to Baltimore and ultimately to Illinois, where I grew up and my mother spent her life. It was an indication of the American dream as far as I'm concerned. Her son not only got a government job, but was elected to the Senate. And so good things happen. But I think it's a story of immigration, a story repeated over and over again by families, that coming to this country determined to succeed makes us a better nation and always has. Has a senator run into that in the state of Oregon?
Well, I must say, Senator, I don't think there is an individual that we have in the Senate who is not the descendant of immigrants. And so shouldn't we all be able to identify with our family stories and bring those to bear to solve this challenge and actually restore the framework? I think about, like, just let me take one piece of this. The process for being able to have an asylum hearing has a backlog of about 6 years.
434 Cole Street.
Well, that's a piece that we can find a rational way to address that. The Dreamers, we can find a rational path to bring the Dreamers fully into our society as we have done in the past. We can proceed to, I think, find a deal on border security, what we pay. But there are many pieces that will never get solved unless people are sitting down like we did with the Gang of 8, bringing people together and say, let's iron this out. And so that is my hope and prayer.
In the nature of a question, I asked the senator from Oregon, is he aware of the fact that we have approximately 700 immigration judges facing that backlog you just described, and the Trump administration has dismissed 100 of them. So instead of adding more judges so we can expedite the hearings and resolve them, the opposite has been the case. Was the senator aware of that?
I was not aware of that, no, and that's insanity.
Certainly is. I also asked the senator, when it comes to
I yield to the nature of the question.
when it comes to the issue of due process, the question is whether or not we can in this country offer due process to the people who are asking for their fate to be resolved. That has been part of our Constitution, applying not only to citizens but those who are in our country petitioning to become citizens. Does the senator agree with me that due process is a critical part of our democracy?
Absolutely.
Well, we face this reality now with children. I just described it earlier, and this is the question I would ask you is this.
I yield for the question.
Does the senator believe that these unaccompanied children need to have humane treatment at all times? You told the story earlier of going down to the border and watching what happened under previous administrations. Would the senator recount that story at this point?
Well, yes. I think you asked me to recount the story. And the story involved the fact that I read a speech by Attorney General Sessions. And Attorney General Sessions was delivering this speech at, I think it was called Freedom Park in Southern California on the border. And as I read the speech, I said out loud to people around me, it sounds like he's planning to separate children deliberately from their parents in order to have that trauma be a deterrent for people coming. I said, there is no way any American administration, not blue, not red, would ever deliberately harm children as a political policy strategy. And a member of my team said, there's one way to find out. Go down to the border. And I checked, and I had that weekend free, so I was down to the border, and I go into this warehouse, and in this warehouse, there are all of these, basically what we'd call in Oregon, cyclone fence cages, wire cages. And I stop in front of one of them, and it has a group of boys lining up from the smallest to the tallest. And the smallest was just knee-high to the grasshopper, as we say, just a little tyke, maybe 4 years old. And I see these kids looking out across the warehouse because in other cages inside that warehouse were groups of women or men, and my impression is they were looking to see, where did my mother go? Where did my father go? Where is my sister at? And I said to the Customs and Border Protection agent, I said, were these children separated from their parents? And he said, yes. And I said, where do you do that? He said, we bring the family in through that door. The door was maybe 25 feet away. And we say, children, come with me. Parents go with that person, and boom, separated. And they stay separated. And what happened as that unfolded is administration, this is under Trump 1, said they were keeping careful records of the children to be able to have a reunion with their parents. But they were not. So we ended up with extraordinary efforts, including tons of volunteer lawyers and researchers trying to get children back unified with their parents. A few hundred, I believe, were never reconnected to their parents, could never be found. Whether they returned to a small village in faraway country, I don't know. But it was profoundly disturbing. I went outside, and the press had a little huddle. They said, what do you see? And I said, children separated from their parents. And, of course, this story immediately blew up. And then I went up the road. I heard that there were hundreds of boys being held in a former Walmart. And my team member was like, well, we asked, but we didn't get permission to get in. I said, well, let's go knock on the door. And so we go up, and he's doing a live feed. What's that called anyway? One of those social media, Facebook, live Facebook feeds. And I go up and I knock and I say, yes, who I am, and we were in the area and we heard there were a lot of operations here. Can you give us a tour? Can you have the executive director come out? And they got back to me. And by the way, since I was doing a live feed, and I said, call me on my phone number. My phone number went out to the entire world at that moment. And so I enjoyed having hundreds or thousands, it felt like thousands of people call for weeks about this. But they didn't come out. What they did is they called the police. And the police declined to arrest me, but did escort me and my staff member off the campus. They did not want there to be a tour, and I had been told it was 1,000 boys, and there were some almost 1,500 boys in this. And because of the publicity of that live feed, the next week the administration had to open it up to the press, and the week after that I went back and saw it. But this vision of deliberately harming children in order to that's a horrific thing. And it did stop. The outcry was massive. It did stop, thank God. But all these other now circumstances people are being hurt in all kinds of ways right now. And as you were describing.
Should be my last question.
Yes, I'll yield for another question.
Is the senator aware of the fact that 2 weeks ago, ICE offered to children under the age of 18, and they were children, an option of $2,400 reward if they would leave the country and go back to the country of their birth? Children who are being asked to sign a contract to give up any claim to citizenship in the United States, and the $2,400 was available to an adult that they would identify in that country who would meet their airplane. With all of the trafficking that has been going on, it was a ridiculous idea to take children and ask them to make that decision and to give them a financial reward if they went along. Was the senator aware of that?
I had heard a reference to some kind of payment program being tested, but I didn't know the details.
I'm going to yield the floor and thank the senator for more.
Thank you very much to my colleague from Illinois, and thank you for being a champion. And I noticed that we have a senator from Washington State.
13, 14, we'll be at 30, 10.
Do we have Senator? No, we do. We do have a senator from Oregon who has arrived. And would the senator from Oregon like to ask a question?
I know you have to ask permission. I just want to say that today has been an extraordinary day for Oregon and for the country. We look forward to continuing this discussion, and I thank, and would the senator yield?
Yes, thank you for the protocol. It's just checking. Thank you for asking me, and yes, I would yield for questions.
Would the senator be willing to continue this discussion in the days ahead? Because I think this has been extraordinary. It has begun to lay out the implications of what this is really all about in terms of authoritarianism. It's important for our state. It's an important debate for the country. Would the senator be willing to carry out further kind of discussions? Might not necessarily be here on the floor of the Senate, but elsewhere as well.
Thank you to my colleague, and as long as that discussion is not taking place in the hours I might be sleeping tonight, absolutely. And I do feel like this is so fundamental to our nation. That's why everyone who has come down to the floor, everyone here has asked a question today and made solid insights as they prepared their question. And we are collectively ringing the alarm bells. We're ringing the alarm bells because authoritarianism is not down the road or around the corner or next month or next year. It is here right now. And it has been so astounding to hear all the dimensions that have been highlighted by individual senators about how this tyranny is taking shape. And in every possible way around the world where authoritarians have developed a strategy, they are all being done here. It's like all of them. Rig the next election. Yes. And then proceed to pressure the newspapers. Yes. And pressure the broadcasters on what they can put out. Yes. And weaponize the Justice Department. They are doing it. And the list goes on and on. And for us in Oregon, certainly the one that is on everyone's mind is striving to have a pathway to legally send in the military when there is no rebellion, no insurrection, and no invasion. And that one terrifies me. That administration is hell-bent on getting judicial thumbs up, green light to be able to move troops where they want in this country when none of those things are happening.
He has richly earned a few hours of sleep tonight, but I'm going to make sure that here in the Senate and across the country, people understand that this is the beginning of further discussion, not the end. And I want to thank my colleague for taking this time today to lay out what this is really all about in terms of this issue.
I'm checking. More colleagues would like to ask a question. The senator from Michigan. Would the senator from Michigan like to ask a question?
Well, I would. Thank you, Senator Merkley, for yielding to me. I do have a question for you. And certainly, I appreciate all that you have been saying over all of these hours. You're right. We are in a real crisis here in this country.
You just say these magical words, would you yield for question? And I will say that I will yield for question.
Would you yield for a question?
I will yield for question, yes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, thank you for bringing this to the attention of the American people in such an eloquent way. First, I'd just like to ask my colleague about how President Trump is pursuing dangerous and authoritarian practice of basically picking winners and losers in government. Clearly, he's like a king. As we've seen, he's picked winners and losers by illegally refusing to spend money that Congress has directed. He's picking winners and losers by withholding federal grant funding for programs, disaster relief, and medical research unless people basically bend the knee to his draconian demands. He's picking winners and losers by firing nonpartisan experts in programs that he doesn't like, and he's replacing them with people whose only qualifications that they're loyal to the president. Only qualification he cares about. And in classic authoritarian playbook, he's covering all of this up by removing independent watchdogs that conduct oversight of executive functions. One of the most egregious examples of this power grab is the ongoing effort to illegally withhold funding that Congress has authorized and appropriated with bipartisan support for critical services. He's withholding it. President Trump froze funding that helped Michigan communities build new radio towers, prepare for natural disasters, and construct safe and modern infrastructure. And when the president breaks the law to give a windfall to some states and some communities, but not others, he is picking winners and losers. We've also seen how President Trump has picked winners and losers among the employees who work on critical government programs and protect our national security. President Trump has fired tens of thousands of nonpartisan federal employees, all because they carry out a function that the president simply doesn't like. And just this week, President Trump's Department of the Interior fired hundreds of workers who protect the health and safety of the Great Lakes, an economic and ecological gem for Michigan and all the states that surround those lakes. At every turn, President Trump has instituted policies that increase his power and sway so that he can more easily pick winners and losers among the federal workforce. He's made it so that only qualification for being a federal worker is someone who voted for you, whether or not you were voted for him, whether or not you actually do the job. In fact, he's taking us back to the spoiled system of the 1800s. And it's not only politicizing our nonpartisan expert civil service, it's jeopardizing our government's ability to deliver crucial services to the American people. And like authoritarians in the past, President Trump doesn't want you to know about his illegal actions. So he's covering them up by undermining independent oversight at every single turn. And when it comes to picking winners and losers, we know that President Trump always chooses himself as the winner. He blatantly uses the office of the president to promote the sale of his own meme coins. He accepts large investments and gifts from foreign governments without regard for national security concerns or federal ethics laws. Meanwhile, his family and friends peddle influence and make deals to enrich themselves and the president. And what have all these efforts to enrich themselves add up to? It's no surprise that his net worth has risen by $3 billion in the past year. So I'd like to ask my colleague from the great state of Oregon a question about what these decisions to basically unlawfully pick winners and losers, what do you believe that means for the future of our country?
Well, I so appreciate the point that my colleague from Michigan has been making. And if we think about the fundamental difference between a democracy and an authoritarian government, one way of describing that difference is that in a democracy, elected representatives of the people, like folks who are gathered here right now, work together, bringing their diverse life experiences, their knowledge of their individual states, and together find a strategy that will address their collective challenges so that each and every part of the country is represented and things are addressed that are important to every part. That design of the programs and how they will operate and how they will fund happen in a democracy in a chamber like this. In an authoritarian system, it's all happening on the executive side. The executive is saying, here are the programs that are going to be funded. Here are my priorities and what I'll do. Here are the grants I'll cancel and the ones that I'll redirect. Here is the way we'll run these programs. And that is exactly what the Trump administration is trying to do. They are trying to move the responsibility we have under the Constitution to design programs, to decide how much they should be funded, to resolve questions about how they will operate, and move that responsibility over to the executive. And the head of Office of Management and Budget, he was very upfront about it. He said, I believe in the unitary executive, where all power rests with the president. And that means the president can cancel programs at will. And I was shocked when I heard him say this. This was before we had the hearing in the Budget Committee, probably about the same time you were holding a hearing on Russell Vogt. And I said, you know, that's already been adjudicated by the Supreme Court. There was an effort in 1996 to do a line item veto and allocate to the president the ability to say these programs go forward, these programs fail. And the Supreme Court said, hell no, you can't do that. The Constitution assigns the responsibility to the legislature to decide what gets funded, and the executive has to implement that plan. And when the question of impoundments came up at an earlier one, a different strategy, Nixon said, hey, I think I'll just not forward the funding. I will impound it so certain programs won't get funded. Again, that had gone to the Supreme Court. And again, the Supreme Court said no. But Mr. Vogt said in my office, and he said, well, I believe that we will get this issue to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will back the unitary executive, strengthen the executive powers in this country. And I just shook my head. I like, that can't possibly happen. But what happened just a short time ago? A piece of this went to the court, and in their shadow docket, and the question was, could the administration slow walk funding to the last 45 days of the fiscal year, then bring over a request for us to undo that funding, it's called a rescission, and then because there's a 5-day grace period pause, the fiscal year expires and the funding authorization goes poof, and suddenly the president has killed the program. And the court, on their preliminary response, said, yeah, we think you can do that. So Russell Vogt certainly seems to have a better grip on where the Supreme Court is, but I just feel like we have to do everything we can, therefore, legislatively, to stop that. Our spending bills need to say that if we have a bipartisan spending bill, that decision to undo that program can only be done by a bipartisan bill in the future, which is the way we do rescissions now. We have money that's left over from a program or this program, and we say that money can be brought back in. It's not needed, but we do it in a bipartisan manner, not in a manner that gives the power of the purse to the President of the United States. And this is a collective effort that all of our Republican and Democratic colleagues should be involved in. I mean, collectively, we need to be defending our role in the Constitution. And this is central to the separation between authoritarian power and a democracy. I've been on the Senate floor to ring the alarm bells for a long time. Somewhere around 6:25 yesterday. And I want to thank people who have been here with me the whole time. People who made this happen. My team, Merkley staff, who I see a few of them, and quite a few of them are here. I'm so pleased, and I appreciate their support. The Capitol Police, who had to stay through the night. The Democratic and Republican floor staff, who had to stay and go forward. Without being, if you will, the center of attention, they had to make sure everything went right. And they did. The Senate pages who have come and gone through the night, but I think it's pretty cool that you were here. Every now and then when I was a little lonely, I'd look over, I'd see some heads looking around the corner, over on this side, this side. That was great. The page program is extraordinary. And I hope all of you will think about how you find a path in life to build a better world. There is no better condition for a soul on this planet to find a way to build a better world. A million ways to do it. The Senate doorkeepers, thank you. So appreciate you all. Senate parliamentarians, oh my goodness. I don't know what kind of flowers I can possibly bring, but I will be in your debt for a long time. Thank you. The presiding officers. So many of my colleagues from across the aisle had to come, and I know how hard it is to sit in that chair. I did my 100 hours in that chair, plus quite a few. And I know it's awfully hard to be there and not even be able to respond when maybe someone disagrees profoundly, and yet you are here making it possible that I can carry this conversation, ringing the alarm bells about authoritarianism. Couldn't have been done if you all hadn't come and held the floor. So thank you. And all of you colleagues who came to give a little dissertation and ask a question, and sometimes a longer dissertation. And I was like, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that so much. We are in the most perilous moment, the biggest threat to our republic since the Civil War. President Trump is shredding our Constitution. Our nation has spent 250 years striving toward a vision of equal justice. Of course, we had our Declaration of Independence. It took a few years to get our Constitution that we now have in place, 1787. But we have been striving towards this vision in which everyone is empowered in this country. And I always think about how the foundation of the law is carved into the facade above the Supreme Court pillars, and it says equal justice under law. You know, the very first political act I took was when I was a junior in high school, and I read an article in the evening paper, back when there was often a business paper in the morning and a labor paper in the evening, the Oregon Journal, and the article said that Agnew, Vice President Agnew, had been convicted of bribery, convicted of taking $100,000, the article said, and he had been given a fine of $10,000. And I was like, what? For the rich and powerful, they get to keep 90% of their proceeds? So I fired off a letter to the Oregon Journal and said, this is not right in a nation that values equal justice under law. And they printed it. They're long out of business. I'd like to get a copy of that, but long out of business. But the vision Trump is putting forward is unequal injustice. It's a huge assault on the foundation for our nation. And what we have is a nation in which the founders, and many of you spoke so eloquently to this, a nation in which the founders said, we do not want to have a king. We want to have government that flows up from the people, not down from a monarch. And so they put together their best ideas. They wrestled with it at the Constitutional Convention. They went through many versions of what the Senate would look like, maybe what our terms would look like. At one point, 12 years. At one point, lifetime. Right now, I'm wishing it was a little less than 6 years myself. But the challenge we have is that that vision of a separation of powers, of checks and balances, is being steadily destroyed by President Trump. In the book that I was using as kind of the framework for discussing these issues, it says most people, even today, think it's still republics die with men wielding guns. And it is essential we understand that that is not the way most republics die today. Most republics die because someone is elected who starts working systematically to reduce those checks and balances. And then perhaps they're aided by a rubber stamp Congress. And perhaps they're aided by a Supreme Court that vests more power in the executive with key decisions. And of course, it takes that aggressive authoritarian personality. And we've got all three. We are fully in the authoritarian moment right now.
David, can you confirm if your
The president
middle name is Lee?
believes that he is the king of this country and that he can control everything regardless of what the law says or what we send him. And we have to collectively, and it should be a bipartisan effort, collectively say, hell no. We took an oath to the Constitution, to the vision of government by and for the people, not government by and for the powerful. And we're going to keep fighting to restore that vision. And today, so many of you highlighted so many pieces of what's going wrong in our country in terms of erosion. A president who wants to tell universities what they can teach and is using research grants over their head. A president who wants to tell law firms who they can get pro bono help to and has forced them to various firms to chuck up $1 billion to be done for pro bono work on the places and organizations Trump wants them to spend it. A president who is using every tool available to try to get the court decisions that will allow him to use both the National Guard and the troops to be able to go where in the country he wants them domestically, even if there is no insurrection, no rebellion, and no invasion. A president who is weaponizing the judiciary to go after person after person after person, coming off his enemies list. And whoever it might be that's next, one of us may be next. One of our colleagues has certainly been publicized by Trump as being on Trump's enemies list. And this is just not to be allowed in government by and for the people. The crushing of due process. I appreciate the comments of my colleague from Illinois about due process and all of the challenges regarding immigration and due process. And let's find a way to finally pass an immigration bill after coming so close so many times. And Senator Durbin, I know you are retiring, but let's get the immigration fix before you leave us with all of your expertise. Your group of 8 that you put together before you did incredibly fabulous work. And this is way past due that we have that foundation of law with many of the pieces of improvements for justice. We saw on day one of this administration, Trump down there in the rotunda with the billionaire standing behind him. And from that moment, it was apparent that's what his government is about, by and for the wealthy and the powerful. And if we had any doubts, then it was resolved on his version of a bill, which he called the big, beautiful bill, and we often called, many of us, the big, ugly betrayal. Because only an authoritarian president who believes that the people answer to him, rather than him being accountable to the people, would come up with a strategy of decimating the health care through the ACA to fund tax breaks for billionaires. Only an authoritarian president would say, let's demolish Medicaid, and between Medicaid and ACA, have 15 million people lose their health care. 235,000 projected in my state. Only an authoritarian would say child nutrition to fund even more tax breaks for billionaires. And then, of course, on top of all that, put forward a plan that runs up $30 trillion in debt, additional debt over 30 years.
Do you want them to call
your
yourself?
Irresponsible bill ever passed through this chamber. And that $30 trillion of additional debt will so compromise our efforts to take on the foundations for ordinary families, for health care, for housing, for education, for good-paying jobs. The four foundations that give a family a chance to stand on their feet and thrive. So we all have taken an oath to the Constitution. So let's all work together in every possible way to ring the alarm bells, because it is a fact that if we do not ring the alarm bells, well, the longer you are in an authoritarian state, it becomes more and more entrenched. And so we have to fight it in every possible way. I'm so proud of the 7 million Americans who took to the street in every one of our states at least 2,700 different locations all across the country to say no.
Go ahead with the plate.
They were ringing the alarm bells. They were saying that it is absolutely unacceptable to have an authoritarian government. And that is the largest demonstration in U.S. history. And for each one of those 7 million, they have families, they have friends who knew that they were doing this, who are becoming educated about the challenge that we're facing right now. And we have to recognize that the next election is absolutely critical if we're going to save our republic, because the strategy of an authoritarian is to rig the elections. And the more time they have, the more entrenched it becomes. And already, here is Trump trying to do a national voter registration file that can be more easily manipulated for the elections next year. Here is President Trump trying to do massive gerrymandering in a whole bunch of states in order to offset the balance between Democrats and Republicans that are fairly represented in the House of Representatives. Here is President Trump saying he will do everything possible to stop the use of vote by mail across the country, because we know why. Because vote by mail has such integrity. It can't be manipulated on election day like precincts can. In precincts, you can move their location. You can put them where there's no parking. You can understaff them. The machines can break down. You can send intimidators. You can proceed to put out fake information about their location. You can put out information the election was last week when it's really this coming Tuesday. Can't do that with vote by mail. And when we have the majority, we must pass the For the People Freedom to Vote bill and lock down the integrity of our elections. So we will not worry for a generation about the people having a fair voice in our government by and for the people. I'm proud to be colleagues with all of you in this effort. Thank you very much, and I yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Recognize the Democrat leader.
Mr. President, Let me express the profound gratitude of all of us for his amazing tour de force over these many hours. Jeff Merkley has been the Paul Revere of 21st century America, literally, figuratively riding from one corner of this country to the other, alerting people to the danger our democracy is in with the would-be king as president. No one has done it better. No one has done it with more persistence. No one has done it with more passion. No one has done it with more effectiveness than Jeff Merkley. Not only this Senate, but much more importantly, all of America owes you a tremendous, tremendous debt. Thank you.
Bill 202.
I recognize the Republican whip.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President,
Can the Senate
one of
order,
our
please?
colleagues just spent over 22 hours. One of our colleagues just spent over 22 hours on this floor reading from a book, reciting poetry, one poem at least 4 times, and talking about renovations currently going on at the White House. It was 22 hours of what I can only describe as rubbish. I come to the floor today to ask a simple question. What did Democrats actually accomplish? The government's still closed. Capitol Police officers and Senate support staffers who were here for the entire 22 hours are still not getting paid. So let me read, Mr. President, from the record and into the record, an article published today in the Daily Caller written by Adam Pack. The headline is this. It's entitled, Democrat Forces Unpaid Capitol Police to Stay Up All Night so he can rail against Republicans. Let me tell you the title again. Democrat forces unpaid Capitol Police to stay up all night so he can rail against Republicans. The article goes on. Democrats are refusing to pay support staff and Capitol Police during the government shutdown, but still force them to work overnight Wednesday so a lawmaker could rail against the Trump administration from an empty Senate. We have order, Mr. President.
Can you please take your conversations outside the chamber? Please take your conversations outside the chamber. Thank you.
To repeat, Mr. President, I said Democrats are refusing to pay support staff and Capitol Police during the government shutdown, but still force them to work overnight Wednesday so a lawmaker could rail against the Trump administration from an empty Senate chamber. The article goes on. Democratic Oregon Senator Jeffrey Merkley took to the Senate floor for, as they wrote this, a 14-hour-long, now 22, and counting screed against President Donald Trump beginning early Tuesday morning. The article continues. His overnight talkathon, which was still ongoing at the time of publication, forced floor aides and Capitol Police to work throughout the night despite staffers missing their first full paycheck due to the funding lapse on Monday. And Capitol Police poised not to receive their salary later this week. Merkley blasted Trump's decision to deploy National Guard to Portland, Oregon over the objections of state and local officials during his marathon speech. It goes on. He also denied that violence had occurred outside an immigration and customs enforcement facility in Portland, despite at least 195 rioters being arrested outside the building since June. Portlanders have responded in a very interesting way, Merkley said in the opening hour of his speech. They are demonstrating with joy and whimsy. The article goes on. They want to make it clear to the world that what Trump is saying about there being violent protests or a rebellion in Portland, Merkley continued, it's just not true. Democrat New Jersey Senator Andy Kim also joined Merkley on the Senate floor in the 10 p.m. hour, praising the Oregon senator for shining a light on the Trump administration's alleged authoritarianism. It's important that we don't underestimate the fragility of our democracy, Kim said. Senate staffers missed their first full paychecks on Monday after Democrats consistently rejected House-passed bipartisan spending bills to fund the government. A wide swath of federal employees will not receive their salary on Friday if Democrats do not supply the votes to end the shutdown. The article goes on. Merkley and Kim have voted with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer on 11 separate occasions to keep the government shuttered during the 22-day long funding lapse. Just 3 Democrat Senate caucus members have thus far crossed party lines to fund the government, leaving the spending measure short of the necessary 30-vote threshold to move most legislation in the Senate. Republicans blasted Merkley's overnight speech during the shutdown, arguing the move was unfair to floor aides and Capitol Police officers working unpaid because Democrats refused to fund the government. The article goes on. The Democrats are going to make Capitol Police and Capitol staff, support staff, who they refuse to pay, work all night so they can give speeches patting themselves on the back for shutting down the government and hurting the American people, Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso wrote on X. How ridiculous is that? Senators whose pay is protected by the U.S. Constitution receive their salaries on Monday. The Senate is expected to vote on legislation this week sponsored by Republican Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson to pay military personnel and federal employees who are reporting to work during the shutdown. Democrats are expected to filibuster the bill. Several members of their caucus have argued that every federal worker should be paid during the shutdown, despite repeatedly voting against reopening the government. The article continues, Merkley's overnight remarks follow other Senate Democrats staging all-night speeches to protest the Trump administration this year. In April, the article concludes, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker delivered the longest Senate floor speech in history to attack the president and his policies. Mr. President, the facts speak for themselves. Americans deserve better than Democrats' rubbish. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Recognize the senator from Montana.
First, I'm going to make some comments about my friend Bill Mercer. It's one of the judges we'll be voting for here in a minute. But let me just set the record straight on something. I'm tired of the lies being spread around the country.
Real quick. Thank you.
There's a lie being spread around the country now on social media and so forth about what's happening here in Washington. And the lie is this: Republicans control the presidency, the House, the Senate, so it's on the Republicans for shutting it down. That is a lie. It takes 60 votes to get something done here in the U.S. Senate. We're looking for 5 Democrats to join us. It's already bipartisan. 3 Democrats have joined us. If 5 more join the Republicans, we've done this 11 times in voting for this clean CR, which Democrats have done repeatedly under Joe Biden's watch. If 5 Democrats join us, we'll open the government back up. But just want to set that straight at home. Yes, Republicans have majority control of the Senate, but it takes 60 votes to get an outcome here in Washington. We have 53 Republicans. 5 Democrats join us, we'll get this done. But, Mr. President, I rise today to speak in support of my friend, Mr. Bill Mercer, and his nomination to serve as the next judge of the U.S. District Court for the District of Montana. President Trump made an excellent choice when he picked Bill. I was thrilled to see him quickly approved by the Senate Judiciary Committee, and now today the U.S. Senate will vote in the next hour or so on his final confirmation. And I urge my colleagues to join Senator Sheehy and I in supporting his nomination. Bill is a lifelong Montanan. He was born in Billings. We've known each other for a long time. In fact, we went to rival high schools, and we actually competed against each other in speech and debate. He was a Billings West Golden Bear, and I was a Bozeman Hawk. This is what makes America great. 2 kids from Montana dreamed big, they worked hard, and now have the opportunity to serve the state we love together. Bill received his undergraduate degree from the University of Montana. He later went on to receive a Master of Public Administration from Harvard and his law degree from George Mason University. Bill served his state and country in various roles over the past 3 decades. In Montana, he served as the U.S. Attorney for the District of Montana from 2001 to 2009, and he represented Billings in the Montana House of Representatives for the past 7 years. Bill also worked at the U.S. Department of Justice, where he served as Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General and Acting Associate Attorney General during the George W. Bush administration. He's been actively engaged in his community, serving in 5 nonprofit boards of directors in Montana. Bill's been a member of the Montana Bar for 32 years. He's appeared in state and federal court in Montana and as lead counsel in numerous cases. He has represented clients in appellate courts, which resulted in oral arguments in 15 cases in the Courts of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit, the D.C. Circuit, and the Montana Supreme Court. Bill's been recognized by his peers in the legal community for outstanding track records, being rated among the best lawyers in Montana for environmental and commercial litigation. Throughout his extensive legal career and years of public service, Bill has represented Montana's interests very well. He is committed to the rule of law and the original interpretation of the Constitution. He understands Montana law and issues. His experience as a widely respected and effective member of the Montana House has helped him understand the needs of our state, our families, and our communities. I believe his time serving in Helena has given him an important perspective on the law and the importance of judicial impartiality. Federal judges play a critical role in our government. It's important that we pick servant leaders who are committed to our founding ideals and protecting the role of the judiciary. These are lifetime appointments. They will have a lasting impact on both Montana and the nation. I have no hesitation when I say that Bill is the top choice to serve as Montana's next federal judge. I've seen his commitment to our state firsthand. His time at the Department of Justice, as U.S. Attorney, as the state legislature prepared him well. There's not a better pick to serve the state of Montana. I urge my colleagues to join me in voting favorably for Bill's confirmation. I look forward to seeing the profound influence that Bill will have in Montana and the nation as he steps into this new role. Thank you.
I recognize the majority leader.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that notwithstanding Rule 22, following the cloture vote on the motion to proceed to calendar number 168, H.R. 5371, the Senate vote on the motion to invoke cloture on the Lewis nomination, and if cloture is invoked on the Lewis nomination, all post-cloture time be expired, and the Senate vote on the motion to invoke cloture on the Meredith nomination. Further, if cloture is invoked on the Meredith nomination, all post-cloture time be expired. The Senate vote on confirmation of the nominations at the time will be determined by the majority leader in consultation with the Democratic leader no earlier than Thursday, October the 23rd. Further, if confirmed, the motions to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table, and the President be immediately notified of the Senate's action. Finally, the mandatory quorum calls with respect to calendar number 168, H.R. 5371, as well as the Meredith and Lewis nominations be waived.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. President, I ask the Chair to execute the order of October 21st with respect to calendar number 168, H.R. 5371, and I further ask that following disposition of that vote, the Chair execute the previous orders with respect to the Lewis, Meredith, and Mercer nominations in that order.
The clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion. We, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a closed debate on the motion to proceed to calendar 168, H.R. 5371, an act making continuing appropriations and extensions for fiscal year 2026 and for other purposes, signed by 17 senators.
By unanimous consent, the mandatory quorum call has been waived. The question is it the sense of the Senate that debate on the motion to proceed to H.R. 5371, an act making continuing appropriations and extensions for fiscal year 2026 and for other purposes shall be brought to a close? The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alston-Brooks. Thank you. Ms. Baldwin. Mr. Banks. Mr. Barrasso.
1522 clear.
1523, 10-4.
Control 1, inmate services 5, 101412 from Laredo to pick up us.
Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Blumenthal. Ms.
Molester.
Blunt Rochester.
Illinois location.
24161 Adam, 240,
Mr. Booker.
8824 Breckenridge Road,
Mr.
South
Bozeman.
Monica. Second half is DRP's brother, Absalom Aruni, 22 years, Hispanic male, no shirt, white shorts.
702 South Parkwood,
Stephanie is his
E1.
girlfriend, both of these things.
Mrs. Britt.
Girlfriend is
Mr. Budd.
First of Estelle, Hispanic
Ms.
female,
Cantwell.
20 years, Black Cities, blue
Mrs.
sweatpants,
Capito.
at 8824
Mr. Cassidy. Ms. Collins.
Okay, well, we have several brush fires.
Control 1, 243 Adam,
Mr.
cancel
Kins.
that. Let me know.
Mr. Cornyn.
Please.
Ms. Cortez Masto.
Go ahead.
Mr. Cotton.
243 Adam, I'll be around
Kramer.
from HQ.
Mr. Crapo. Mr. Cruz. Mr. Curtis. Mr. Daines. Ms. Duckworth.
I'll be breaking traffic.
Mr. Durbin. Ms. Ernst.
Overlay out of Vermont.
Mr. Fetterman.
Mrs.
Mrs. Fisher. Mr. Gallego.
Return to Gabriel Ortiz.
Mrs. Gillibrand. Mr. Graham. Mr. Grassley. Mr. Haggerty.
3 on
Ms. Hassan. Mr. Hawley.
4170 location.
Mr. Heinrich.
Call for Medic 1, Rescue 3. Medic 1, Rescue 3.
Mr. Hickenlooper. Ms. Hirono.
We'll be at the Wellman on Morgan.
Mr. Hoven.
2922.
Mr. Houston. Mrs. Heights Smith. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Justice.
Draw Louis 7.
Kane. Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kennedy.
I'm going to show you a route for that.
Mr. Kim.
It's going to be a
Mr. King.
421st Street, 421st. Everybody, 3 transit to the
Ms.
location.
Klobuchar. Mr. Langford. Mr. Lee. Mr. Lujan. Ms. Lummis.
Yeah, I don't think it's related.
Mr. Markey. Mr. Marshall. Mr. McConnell. Mr. McCormick. Mr. Merkley.
Can you take that one O to see if it's 1198 or
Mrs. Moody. Mr. Moran. Mr. Marino. Mr. Mullen. Ms. Murkowski. Mr. Murphy. Mrs. Murray. Mr. Ossoff. Mr. Padilla. Mr. Paul, Mr. Peters, Mr. Reed, Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Risch, Ms. Rosen, Mr. Rounds,
Receive Shoreline 0, code 1.
Mr. Sanders, Mr. Schatz, Mr. Schiff, Mr. Schmidt,
182.
Mr. Schumer,
Shoreline, this is Medic 3. We'll be en route to your facility.
Mr. Scott of Florida, Mr. Scott of South
51-year-old
Carolina,
female patient. She's currently ANO times 4 GTS.
Mrs. Shaheen, Mr. Sheehy,
Control 1 and 8 for 5
Ms. Slotkin, Ms. Smith, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Thune, Mr. Tillis, Mr. Tuberville, Mr. Van Hollen,
Doesn't seem like a cardiac related. Current vitals are as follows. You have a blood pressure.
Mr. Warner, Mr. Warnock,
Control 1, 2, Buffy.
Ms. Warren, Mr. Welch, Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Wicker, Mr. Wyden,
I'm still looking for,
Mr. Young.
Dan 40, Roger. Dan 40, Roger.
Senators voting in the affirmative: Barrasso, Crapo, Daines, Grassley, Haggerty, Marino, and Thune. Senators voting in the negative. Also Brooks, Blunt Rochester, Booker, Cantwell, Duckworth, Gallego, Kane, Kelly, Klobuchar, Murray, Padilla, Peters, Reed, Schatz, Schiff, Schumer, Smith, Van Hollen, Whitehouse, and Wyden.
Just advising of that walk-in shooting. It's going to be at the Hector P. Garcia Hospital, 2606 Hospital.
Rose 2 embassy for Simmons. Code 7.
Charlie 230, I'm gonna need another. Both parties are still here.
I believe the advised it was like.
Okay. Alright. Well, if you would please.
It's Charlie 170, they'll have to pull up.
Okay, we're on 60.
Where's he at?
Okay. Hey, Nancy, let me know if the nozzles fall off. That is correct.
Current 12 embassy for Simmons. Current 12 double.
I'll go ahead and start 1 Delta 115. I'm going to show off that.
Mr. Graham, aye.
Hospital Boulevard.
Mrs. Hyde-Smith, aye. Mr. Murphy? No.
245, 10-4, Delta 115, I'll go and shoot.
You gonna need another round, Michael?
Delta 140, you can take to the other.
No,
10-4, Delta 250, I'll go and shoot, sir.
Good.
Just on a patrol 1.
Patrol 1, 441, I'll be 10-681 for medical from
Truck.
10-4.
Let's go back and get open.
Thank you, sir. Charlie 280 around the 615 23 0.
Over.
What's going on, team? Received.
Control Med 24, en route to Darker Street,
Ms. Slotkin?
1108, DQ
No.
traffic.
Number.
Alright,
55 dispatch. 10-4, 202 South Clark, lot number 4.
Hey,
Control 1, and service 5-10-19. 10-19. Area 226 Desert Breeze Drive, South Bridge.
This doesn't look like anybody's home. Thank you. You're handsome also.
Why is 23?
Definitely.
Any units out on Williams have a last known location for the female?
No.
Uh, 55, yes. Whichever one you need. Over there, but I can't invite the unit.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Can you do worker concern at 800 Manor Road, apartment 8?
615, R is en route, occupying a black 2008 Honda Accord ET of 20.
Mr. Durbin.
And it's right, there is a CPS case possibly open on the lawn.
208 B to Q.
142.
No.
Civil limit code 6.
Anthony from Deco. Can you show me arriving at transportation?
114.4.
Mr. Sheehy.
David 3, on the code 10.
I don't think it's staying the same. It's we're getting rid of some of the oil, but it's
Mr. Cornyn.
Yes, can I have the number 33 on the patch for
much more.
units
Mr. Lakeland.
C Street?
Aye. Mrs. Capito. Aye.
On the patch for the north units 81C Charles Street, 53 on the patch.
Mr. Curtis. Aye. Aye. Mrs. Blackburn. Aye.
Control 1-3.
Southwest call 4625 Franklin. RP saying that they were threatened and someone shot a gun towards them. The vehicle was hit. There was a disturbance over a traffic accident.
36.
36 buzzing on today.
I have an individual.
36 tonight. Control 1, current 3 en route to the 602 from Loaded. 3 now.
It's going to be exit 43 and was that going to be a county road or a farm?
Back entry.
Just call this is number 7.
All locked cemetery rear, the shooting and that's where.
Go on 203. Show me around to the 240. Cancel the Q-Zone 1 flight.
Good point, Adam, you can test me too.
On airport.
10 for now. 1 call, boy, up and out back.
Aye.
1 call, boy, copy and out.
Control 143, show me down for 460 Outlook.
1 call for now.
After we pick up this one, I'm going to drop him off and I'll send him.
And I copy that 35.
Okay, thank you.
185.
Oh, the RP is 70, sorry. RP is 50.
Mr. Ossoff.
Yes, sir.
No. Mr. King. Aye.
Private, I guess. CB 21.
I'm clear 59.
Ms. Rosen.
1402.
No. Ms. Hassan. No. Ms. Baldwin. No. Ms. Cortez Masco. No.
Delivering unreadable.
For information, the Susan be wearing a maroon purple shirt with some gray shorts, white shoes.
Sam Henry, Sam 2712, Sam 4000, Sonic no white shirt, black shorts, with
Cassidy,
red
Code 4, other unit traffic.
Nowhere, they just need a medic.
Ms. Cortez Masto, aye.
Any units recommended for the shot suspect call, over 25 Brooklyn Drive. Just so you know, I'm going to be gone today, and Melissa is going back up to the front, so no one will be on the radio. Not an active weapon shooting, shot back in Mason, 4 where you come from that?
Mr. Rish, aye.
10-4, are you sure you're not for the shot suspect 4625 Franklin Drive? There's reference to disturbance over a traffic accident. Last 4 possibly saying that the male came up to the vehicle asking for money and they shot at the door.
Control on 1 call avoid 97. Can you recontact the RP and advise an ascertain her 1029 yelling
and I'm looking for 327 Avenue J and it fits right next to Pizza Hut.
11.
The Hispanic male, black shirt with black and red shorts, that's basketball shorts, saying no one is injured. The gray Honda Civic, 4170, 10-4. 4140, are you available for backup?
Control on current by code 601. Code 601.
One homeboy, RP is no longer 1097. She's at home.
942, I'll be out of service.
One homeboy, copy your name.
10-5, Rose 1006.
So 1 City to 10 code 4. City to 10 code 4.
0854.
11, please.
3 Charles 803, Corpus, standby for 21. 8.1 received.
Control on current 3, continuing from Mount Mesa.
Ms. Murkowski, aye.
Over.
Mrs. Shaheen. No, Mr. Welch. No.
I thought you were asking if we could get the suspect's license plate. There is no license plate on the call. I was going to do a call back.
Brother
Hazard. After the Exxon plant in 181 heading towards Portland. Vehicle was carrying a load of should be clearing off and fell off here on the roadway.
Island 215, Stephanie advised that she is not at the location. She says she did not want contact.
Control.
Driving 0.3. 0.3 received. Break. Call for Medicaid.
Looks like the suspect left toward the Sunnybrook area.
Louis David 2, Louis David 5, Test Welfare 8325, Williams Boulevard, Poppy. Test Welfare of a 5-year-old juvenile, Axel Madron, who was dropped off by the bus. Mouser is detailed to pick him up. 8325, Buena Vista Boulevard.
They're saying that they do not have a license plate for the suspect.
Fire dispatch for Medic 7 arriving after school 1.1.
Louis David 5,
3 Charles, 28 County, I'll be
Ms. Collins, aye. Mr. Warner, no. Bozeman, aye.
Dispatch to 937. Dispatch to 937. You want to get behind me because of the uphill curve?
Yeah, can you change this to Elizabeth and Santa Fe?
Ms. Ernstine.
We
have an address of where the state returns to. Clear doctors returning the Florida.
Somebody can fix the control too.
203.
Delta 215, report. Can you tell maintenance that Mr. Mulder had a problem with oil filter PSI lights, and now we have the same light in Halo 3? And we need the mechanics to tell us if they just want to shut down or look at it.
24. Roger that.
Johnson, aye. Marshall. Mr. Marshall, aye.
Verifying of a male coughing of
Control 1, 2 Buster, Kennedy.
I think he does. We have 3 houses south of the location.
169 out of service.
Control Matt 32, 1087. Matt 32, 2.
Mr. Paul? No. Mr. Young? Aye.
Pretty cool, go ahead.
Mrs. Gillibrand?
Arriving northwest.
No.
13.6.
112, show me out of service.
13.6 received.
Can you repeat the address, please?
10-4.
Almost a couple. Control 1, North 4. Can you send me the 4 verbal? 410-4.
Arriving in your mileage 18.1. Highway 77, southbound, and Conroe 36 on William Robert.
Hey, I got a full blown fight on my bus right now. Elderly black lady, or young black lady and elderly man. They're fighting on the bus right now. Right from those officials.
William Robert George, 79 southbound, Emerald 36.
Clear break. Stand by for
Received.
Mr. Kennedy, aye.
You quick for a plate?
Ahead of plate.
9 Edward item Frank 065 on the contact. 250.
113.
It's Current 2023.
Received.
Headquarters. 113. The second half.
Ms. Haruno? No. Mr. McCormick, aye.
3 Charles 206 to 3 Charles 205,
Standing by.
10-4, I'm heading that way right now.
Transportation 73.
10-4.
15.5, next to traffic.
Pepper, can you start heading that way too? No, sir. Leopard
Mr. Sullivan?
Lester.
Aye.
Over there by the Loaves and Fishes.
Mr. Hickenlooper? No.
Show me our service.
Sam Beavertown 6421.
10-4.
Fireburst 2 on scene.
162.
Mr. Cruz?
2007 Chrysler, white in color, to Monica T. Eastwood at 3817 Lamont Street. This video.
Can you show me in the area of ready for homecoming?
Control 1, Blue Davidson, 10 and 7.
Lieutenant car number 26 headed for Oil Dock 7.
Mr. Hawley? Aye. Mr. Budd? Aye.
Beyond.
7 Laredo and 10-7.
Participation. 1306. It is 3305. 1521 Clota. 1521 Clota. Structure is vacant.
Mr. Mullen, aye.
EMS2. Column Tango 3, is there a Debris unit available?
I'm in service roving. I was with the canine. Unit 997.
Tango 3 negative this time.
85713. I'll be working the parade for rail.
1306
for one side. 461, I'll be curbside.
Okay, copy, Colton. Go ahead and start picking up the signs.
Received.
Aye.
Thank you.
I have 17 copies. Thank you, Mike 3. Received on
Show me that transportation. I'm going to be picking up unit 1106, mileage 91368. I'll be en route to the Ray for the parade. 646 tour. 646 tour. Nice Ray David Kings on 95113.
Mr. Wicker.
FM 43.
Aye.
194, show me the service, please.
146, see what I mean.
Louis David 2, code 4, Louis David 5, continue your discretion.
134, 10-7.
North David 3, code 30.
November 30 on 5+6.
Mr. Heinrich? No.
30 on the patch, alternate the clear, code 30. Cody, code 4.
Service from Driscoll.
1240 to 1246.
Okay, Ruben, you're gonna take that one to Central, because we're gonna have to go tomorrow. I know, thank you for the help. Go for 1246. 35, Derek.
Which way did she go? Which way did she go? Whereabouts are you? Yeah, I appreciate it, Ruben. Yeah, I appreciate it, Ruben.
Check 15-10-4.
Yes, sir.
Off 21, curbside.
One Paul, show me how long. This will be a 901T on the north and 99 north. Stand by for entry.
110.
Copy. 150.
K1, Ruby.
Whereabouts are y'all at? Where do you need sending at?
I'm going to be clear at 359. If needed there, I'll be clear public service as well.
Charlie 130.
It's going to be laceration to the elbow and muscle heart attack for one driver.
North of the
No.
Tom Victor Zebra 9093.
Tom Victor Zebra 9093.
And if I'm on the assault just occurred, I need a case number on that call.
One call 3 Adam with 113 Adam.
There's no case number on the other one. Your case number is going to be 0105 0105.
Fire, order fire.
Last minute tonight.
I'll be setting up command on the on-ramp at mile market 36. On-ramp mile market 36.
Mr. Fetterman, aye.
Show 1 left left.
Mr. Husted, aye. Mrs. Britt, aye.
The update location to be north, just west of Pegasus.
Mr. Ricketts, aye.
Grass fire, all units that are still inbound. Be advised, we have multiple small grass fires along the interstate on the northbound
Scott of
lane
Florida,
between the ditch and the access road north of marker 36 all the way to marker 40. Multiple small grass fires. The majority of the fire is out. All we're doing now is doing pop-up.
This is Moody I.
I'll be setting up command once again on the on-ramp on 36. Interstate 37 northbound from 36 all the way to 888 has been shut down due to the heavy, thick smoke crossing the lanes.
Scott of South Carolina, I. Ms. Warren, no. Blumenthal, no.
35. Engine 3, what do you use, man? Mass Fire 2, Mass Fire 1.
Okay.
Stretcher monitor, level 3.
Route 35.
Show me the area break for the home.
Marky, no. Mr. Bennett, no.
Route 35.
Mr. Rounds, aye.
Is there something you want me to bring from the station, or you want me to stand by there? 645.
Mr. Kramer,
645.
aye. Mr. Hoven, aye.
All I'm clear to copy 2 plates.
Affirmative, go ahead.
3 California 8, George, Nora, Paul, 307 to Nissan.
24 Alpha 1 in route. Alpha 22 will be at 1731.
With 2 to Lerdo, 1 Frank, starting mileage 0. 1016.
The first place was expired.
Mr. Moran, aye.
2006 Nissan 4-door out of Bakersfield. And the second is North South Current on a 2009 Toyota 4-door out of Bakersfield.
1517 Ocean Drive, apartment number 5.
441 tonight,
County 45.
1517 Ocean Drive, apartment
441
number 5.
To be clear. 1448.
Mr. Justice, aye.
1156. 1 Paul, 1 boy, 27
Tillis, aye.
Copy 1097.
Mr. Sanders, no. Mr. Tuberville, aye.
Yeah, Miss Larry, I just signed in. I'm picking up a call responding. I can take care of that.
Yeah, good work.
Call.
33 to dispatch.
124. Let me see if I'm 30, please.
Okay with you?
134, 10 8.
And Halo 2 ready to lift from...
Dispatch, Major 13.
On board, Charlie.
Control 1, base standing
Started medic unit. Started medic unit.
Coming over to...
And just taking the
I think we have a rear below.
Medic 33 to dispatch. Can I get a
Dispatch, Major 13.
Mr. Bankside.
the university, please?
Medic 91, go ahead.
You know, backup engine 13, Yeller is not too far away. You know, backup engine 13, Yeller is not too far away. For Canterbury.
I'll let them know that you're inbound.
100 block of Fulton, William George John, 7344. William George John, 7344. 100 block of Fulton.
Mr. Coons,
I'll
no.
be there in probably about 5-10 minutes, and I can take a spot
Roger that.
after something.
Engine 13, Medic 91, bolting to change over to EMS 1 at 1650. Engine 13, Medic 91, bolting to change over to EMS 1 at 1650.
Mr. McConnell, aye. Mr. Lee, aye.
Edward 1650.
Do you see that vehicle?
27 1070.
Back to
92.
an auditorium. Keep an eye on you.
922, is somebody gonna relieve me here at Stable Station? You said?
We have 1044. 10 for 1731.
Control 1, check 11. Send me the GTA on Lucky Street.
And maybe, sister. 33, and maybe, sister.
Spike 5. 142, copy 27.
925.
Spike 5. Got it. 10-4.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might have to go with the bus, because I know she was seeing very low, too.
51662895, repeating 51662895.
Send that at dispatch.
Control 143 Adam.
Hey, if you want to let CCPD know, yeah, one of the ladies brought a knife and cut the guy, so he's bleeding from his arm.
Anything clear for you. Party 2 calls just came in, 109 J Street, 109 J Street. Give me a physical family service.
Delta 250, Delta 290 for that assist at Morgan and 18th, Morgan and 18th.
Yeah, let me make contact with the guy that's bleeding, and then more likely there's going to be a switch on the bus because there's blood on the floor.
Looks like it was going to be called in by the ID and then also call.
Can you grab that physical family service? 109 J Street, 109 J Street. Called in by Eileen.
Mr. Warnock, no.
They're going to move Kilo 3 into the hangar, so you're clear to land on the fuel pad.
Fighting, sister and mother are fighting. Sister's name's going to be
dispatch, that's going to be
Alexa,
on
mother's name is Evelyn. Both females currently inside.
We're going to be done in 2 seconds.
Daughter hit her with close fist, pulled her hair. Mother took daughter's phone. Daughter took her phone. Information on that.
We have an incomplete at the main cars with Jim on call back at right side to them. Case is going to be 0107, 0107.
517.
Probably clear, Nueces County Court, probably 10-7 for the day.
Colonel Mayor.
Substation, mileage 57919.
Mrs. Fisher. Mrs. Fisher, aye.
Bravo 1, Met 24 was advised to 1198 at the sub.
Call for engine 5 and medic 9. Engine 5 and medic 9 for stabbing. And leopard and Lester. ESE 5004. Just happening on our bus. Bus number 1007. This is on scene. I was at 9. Safety. Being called in by RT. Call for Davis and 1 at 650 Right.
So we're arguing on the bus. Survey seen that the victim was stabbed in the left forearm. Both are currently going to be on the left forearm. Both are currently going to be on the left forearm patrolling the EAP. Delta 2, 2400. Delta 2, 2400.
Control 1, 297 here. I'll be
10-4. 10-4.
215, where?
Medic 12,
Control 141,
Call for engine 12 and medic 12. Engine 12 and medic 12 for domestic disturbance with injuries at the Zenith. 702 South Parkwood.
Mr. Thune.
No on number yet. ESE's 1210 Cross Street of Donna Clarkwood.
No.
Stage for machine safety. I was working EMS 1 at 1654. EMS 1.
Communications to Airport 61.
Ready?
Go ahead, medic. Correct. Correct.
On this vote, the yeas are 54, the nays are 46. 3/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn not having voted in the affirmative, the motion is not agreed to.
Madam President, I enter a motion to reconsider.
The motion is entered.
Madam President, I ask unanimous consent for remaining roll call votes in this series be 10 minutes in length.
Is there objection? Without objection. The clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Time 2.
Cloture motion, we, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close debate on the nomination of Bill Lewis of Alabama to be United States District Judge for the Middle District of Alabama, signed by 17 senators.
By unanimous consent, the mandatory quorum has been waived. The question is it the sense of the Senate that debate on the nomination of Bill Lewis of Alabama to be United States District Judge for the Middle District of Alabama shall be brought to a close? The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alsobrooks, Ms. Baldwin, Mr. Banks, Mr. Barrasso, Mr. Bennett, Mrs. Blackburn, Mr. Blumenthal, Ms. Blunt-Rochester.
Detain 2 have been canceled. 1019, you got a copy? Bell 35, now as we stab, a small cut. 203, 73 at 10. Can you repeat? You had an echo.
Mr. Booker.
0217, I repeat, 0217.
461.
Mr. Bozeman.
Correction, clear curbside.
10.
Mrs. Britt. Mr. Budd.
12 from Major 12.
Ms. Cantwell.
73 at 1019, over.
Mrs. Capito. Mr. Cassidy.
With me.
Ms. Collins. Mr. Coons. Mr. Cornyn. Ms. Cortez Masto. Mr. Cotton.
285 is the senior secure permit.
Mr. Kramer. Mr. Crapo.
Medicated
Mr. Cruz.
To Lester and Leopard.
They're asking if you can help Saturday with at 12.
You can cancel.
Mr. Curtis.
Or you'd be back
Mr.
at
James.
by 8.
Ms. Duckworth. Mr. Durbin.
North 10 2, guys. California 7 hanging Lincoln. Correction, 7 hanging north, Lincoln.
Ms. Ernst. Mr. Fetterman. Mrs. Fisher. Mr. Gallego.
6 Victor 57563 on it.
Mr. Graham.
Copy. Can you advise last 4? Okay, contact 1 if I go.
Mr. Grassley.
It'll be a
Mr.
Robert
Haggerty. Ms. Hassan.
Check on a juvenile female, black shirt, green pants, walking on the side of the road.
Mr. Hawley.
Walking eastbound.
Delta 250, case number of his own.
Ocean Atlantic 581
Trunk, just up. California 9, Frank Henry John 859. Lake Isabella Boulevard.
Mr. Heinrich.
Yes.
Mr. Hickenlooper. Mrs. Corono. Mr. Hoven. Mr. Husted. Mrs. Height Smith. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Justice.
Still stop registration in progress and a pending master file on the 2004 Infinity at Lake Isabella.
Mr. Kane. Mr. Kelly.
Okay, and you have any witnesses that saw the assault occur?
Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kim.
10 for turn 10 and 12 here on
Mr. King. Ms. Klobuchar. Mr. Langford. Mr. Lee. Mr. Lujan. Ms. Lummis. Mr. Markey. Mr. Marshall. Mr. McConnell. Mr. McCormick. Mr. Merkley. Mrs. Mooney. Mr. Moran. Mr. Marino.
Show me work out 342. I'll be at Southside Station tonight.
Mr. Mullen. Ms. Murkowski. Mr. Murphy. Mrs. Murray. Mr. Ossoff. Mr. Padilla.
Rush student 1247.
Mr. Paul, Mr. Peters, Mr. Reed, Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Risch, Ms. Rosen, Mr. Rounds, Mr. Sanders, Mr. Shaw, Mr. Schiff, Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Schumer, Mr. Scott of Florida, Mr. Scott of South Carolina, Mr. Shaheen, Mr. Sheehy,
Still heading northbound. It's going to be a
Ms.
white
Slotkin, Ms. Smith, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Thune, Mr. Tillis, Mr. Tuberville, Mr. Van Hollen, Mr. Warner, Mr. Warnock, Ms. Warren, Mr. Welch, Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Wicker, Mr. Wyden, Mr. Young.
When they were assessing the patient, they did a can you show us how the service of the station for decon? At the facility, they gave the patient 10 units of insulin and
311 code 4, both subjects are code 4.
I just see that now. I'm sorry. Right now. And she had the other drone operator available for back where they can you show us how the service of the station for decon?
Arriving at the
I need to know why you were not responding.
the homecoming parade.
20 is going to be Mary King X-ray 8540. Mary King X-ray. Unit 3 to 40. Any drone operators available to assist Charlie 130 to be on a 29 subject acknowledged.
Senators voting in the affirmative: Blackburn, Bozeman, Britt, Capito, Cornyn, Kramer, Durbin, Ernst, Fetterman, Fisher, Graham, Grassley, Haggerty, Hawley, Hyde-Smith, Johnson, Justice, Kane, Kennedy, Langford, Lee, Moody, Murkowski, Paul, Ricketts, Scott of Florida, Tillis, and Wicker. Mr. Barrasso, aye. Senators voting in the negative: Blunt, Rochester, Cantwell, Duckworth, Gallego, Gillibrand, Klobuchar, Markey, Murphy, Reed, Sanders, Schumer, Smith, Warnock, Warren, and Wyden. Mr. Daines, aye.
You need to have your radio turned up. I believe this is not the first time.
Mr. McCormick, aye. Mr. Tuberville, aye. Mr. Hoven, aye. Mr. Bennett, no.
Eagle 43 situation.
Received, Bay.
Eagle 43, 10-8.
Dispatch from Medic 9. We're arriving shoreline 1.3.
Eagle 43, 10-8. Eagle Sam 30 situation.
Received. Break. Call for engine 6, medic 6, engine 6, medic 6 for secret device activation. Easy 6009. Estimated address of 4774 Grand Junction. 4774 Grand Junction. Direction of Foxdale and Everhart. Work off EMS 1, EMS 1 at 1703.
J David 11, control 1 situation.
Engine
Continue code 6.
Call for engine 5, medic 1, engine 5, medic 1.
Mr. Husted,
Husted, 1004. We'll be at the Lowe's and Fishes at 1906 Leopard, 1906 Leopard.
Mr. Heinrich,
Work off
no.
EMS2 at 1704.
117, radio check.
Ms. Hirono, no.
Dispatch medic 14. Medic 14 code. Code 1 Doctors Regional starting mile 0.0.
Mr. Schmidt, aye. Mr. Banks, aye.
Dispatch medic 3 transporting code 1 Driscoll 0.
Mr. Budd, aye. Mr. Crapo, aye.
Charlie 230 clear.
Mr. Booker, no.
Civil 11, 10-8. Going with 34, code 4. 34, code 4.
Mr. Merkley, Mr. Merkley, no.
7-9 dispatch.
10-4 now.
1525. 28 can be Boy John William 1443. Boy John William 1443.
Are you able to tell me the unit number that's pulling up right here? Going up.
Boy John William 1443.
This is Murray. This is Murray. No.
316. Equal on this.
10-4, you mind letting her, units,
Control and Mulder, units go for.
or can you just open up the microphone?
10-4.
604 Robert, 10-4.
Mr. Rounds. Mr. Rounds.
Strong, come back. You started total modification.
10-8, sir. 305 10-4. Keep one open or out that way.
10-5.
Mr. McConnell. Mr. McConnell. Aye.
7-9
Mr. Padilla. Mr. Padilla. No.
208 10-4.
Mr. Whitehouse. Mr. Whitehouse. No.
Yeah, so I'm just going to pull up all the way over here to the corner. You're going to have to be kind of nosed in at an angle. You do have a 10-5, 10-4.
Orange and blonde here, with a bunch of people. 142, I'm arriving.
Thank you, dispatch.
7-9.
7-9.
Break engine 71 AC.
Engine 6 right.
It's going to be between the wheelchair seats.
Mr. Schatz. Mr. Schatz. No. Mr. Blumenthal. Mr. Blumenthal. No. Mr. Cruz. Mr. Cruz.
Thank you.
Aye.
145, do we have an address for that suspicious? Just kidding.
1522. Can you give me that harassment?
Control 102, can you advise code 8?
10-4. He appears to be very very shallow in the ground because and they told her they didn't have anybody doing any work back there. And if she was concerned to call out, just say that
Miss Collins. Miss Collins. Aye.
CDC.
You just clear from this call, no EMS needed. 7 access north, counter 46. Tall X-ray.
Turn 5, B&B towing en route, ETA 20.
677 north,
Can
you have them in that, I'll be around that way.
Mr. Curtis. Mr. Curtis. Aye.
They're Adam around to the tractor welfare.
Rescue 3, shoot available in quarters.
Control on my travel boy, 3 Paul 3 Adam. My air is 3 Paul 3 Adam. Control 1 Paul 3, is there a unit available?
Mr. Kim. Mr. Kim. No.
Negative on the Met unit at this time.
Copy, Star 1 to my call, let him know.
We're going to be going to channel 3 for the parade traffic. 7-9 at dispatch, transfer is made to unit 1000.
Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott of South Carolina. Aye. Mr. Van Hollen. Mr. Van Hollen. No. Ms. Cortez Masto. Ms. Cortez Masto. No. Ms. Hassan. Ms. Hassan. Aye. Ms. Baldwin. Ms. Baldwin. No. Mr. Welch. Mr. Welch. No.
0109.
Mr. King. Aye.
Can you send me into 2797 with a ride along?
Delta 2.
Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kelly. No. Ms. Rosen. Ms. Rosen. No. Ms. Slotkin. Ms. Slotkin. No. Mr. Ossoff. Mr. Ossoff. No.
This is 6504.
Yeah, Andrew, you got some mowers
mowing the ditches over there right before you get to Cinnamon Shores. There's no signs or nothing out, so be careful.
Receive the bill. Take the bill.
You got them mowers on the side of the road over there right before you get to Cinnamon Shores on 361. There's no sign. 1525. 10-8
Mr. Peters, Mr. Peters, aye.
I'll be out with that mail.
Charlie 130. I am clear my part and then route to Charlie South. Yeah, working.
Okay.
Control 137, you're right to that. 3 Adam. 3 now.
Gonna be a medical aid response for patient still in
Mr. Moran. Mr. Moran, aye.
You're gonna have to park on the side of the building that
245, I'm going to rough it up with disturbance. 302 Upper Road of the Phoenix Department.
Robbie 10-8, he works for Spectrum.
13, locking secure.
Mr. Marino, aye.
Everything banging on the floor since last night.
Control 1, Rose 2. Can you update my call to a 594? Rose 2, 10-4.
$41.60.
I'll be clear, give me that GPS.
Mr. Thune, aye.
Frank 7, CMDC for assignment, make contact via 1021.
Stand by for speeding reckless. Going to be south north, coming off the causeway, passing more. The white F-250.
Mrs. Shaheen, aye.
Bumper on the back, passing people on the shoulder, in and out of traffic. Yes, copy for a hazardous vehicle, Highway 350, westbound at West Point, 350 westbound at West Point.
Mr. Cotton, aye.
Suspect drinking and driving in a silver Cadillac Avenue. No front lights.
Mr. Hickenlooper, no.
Copy unit 614.
It's 71. Shows.
You need to go out there.
Available.
Cascade Avenue. September 1309 Cascade.
Mr. Marshall, aye. Mr. Cassidy, aye. Mr. Schiff, aye. He's also
Eagle David 21 situation.
No.
Eagle David 21.
Mr. Lujan, no.
Control 1 to LB 263 El Dorado for
106379
Control 1 to 13, we're in contact with RP. Code 4.
243, that's fine.
Mr. Coons, no.
Control 1 Tower 1, send me the 594 investigation.
Mr. Warner, no.
Louis 4, controller.
Good.
Before Louis 7, check the welfare at 8315
Mr. Mullen, Mr. Mullen, aye.
Esmeralda Hernandez, should be in company of her mother, Angelica Hernandez. Juveniles not attended school, they're unable to contact. Appears that there's juvenile probation on a male at that location, searchable for weapons.
From Louis 17, I'll be on route to that.
I'll leave manager.
17 around.
1022.
1 close to
Once you replace my unit, your vehicle window is going to be good to go to take off, and I'll do a service adjustment for him.
I'll be on route to the auto one.
I'll do a service adjustment for him.
1 Adam now.
343 Adam, 797.
3 Adam, 1097.
Control 1, call 3, B 1014, Franklin 1, Mary Kay Shell. Starting mileage will be 466, you can cancel that.
Sure. ESZ is 1408. We'll be at 5800 Glen Arbor. 5800 Glen Arbor. Crusher the Etheridge and Brazewood. Work on fire dispatch for now at 1717.
Charlie 26 Revenue, go 3, ending miles 1.4.
Control on Irvine, show 1097. 1097. 48 copy.
82. Stand by. Gamble.
Mr. Young, aye.
Stand by.
Charlie 230, Charlie 280 for the position person call 6225 North Washington, 6325 North Washington, contact Linda.
Control on Ridge 11, copy comment, I'll be 1098 on board.
Okay, sir, I made contact with the principal. The subject's left. He's supposed to be walking from this location.
Control 132, send me call for service 991.
That's a 215 plus.
Text you.
Simple.
Price down the area.
Simple.
Mr. Sullivan, aye.
604 Robert made contact with the principal. Subject left, walking from this location west to this try to make contact.
Dispatch medic 3 arriving, vertical 2.9.
2.9 received.
Control 153 Adam, prior to you can get the patrol jet on there, put in Robert.
1 Adam.
Ms. Lummis, aye.
5251 in custody, 1720.
Current 1260 for assignment, make contact via 1021.
Current 12, copy.
That's 10-4.
604
That's a
4509 status.
Thank you. You're welcome.
79.
I'm on subject 665, West Hill School, 305.
Call for 79. Yep.
3056. Therefore.
Delta 2.
Mr. Sheehy, Mr. Sheehy, aye.
Therefore.
Are you calling me? Show me a Cabinet Westfield. Agent 14 on scene. 27 1044, unless you need me.
Civil 11 Civil 11
So then I'm done. I guess you don't need my services anymore.
For the first one, it was going to be an unknown EMS. They advised of a female running around itching, 75-year-old female.
Dispatch, medic 91.
Yeah, lower those both to 3s. I think we'll be okay. Talk to that guy in that vehicle.
Go 215 arriving.
10-4.
Adam code 4.
3 Adam code 4.
Okay.
Arriving in the amount of 5.2.
The ayes are 60 on this vote, the nays 39. The motion is agreed to.
3 Adam, no stop.
The clerk will report the nomination.
The Judiciary, Bill Lewis of Alabama to be United States District Judge for the Middle District of Alabama.
The clerk will report the motion to invoke closure.
Cloture motion, we the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close debate on the nomination of Stephen Chad Meredith of Kentucky to be United States District Judge for the Eastern District of Kentucky, signed by 17 senators.
President, point of order. Is this a 10-minute vote?
Control 1, second 1087.
This is a 10-minute vote.
Thank you.
By unanimous consent, the mandatory quorum call has been waived. I'll keep going. The question is it the sense of the Senate that debate on the nomination of Stephen Chad Meredith of Kentucky to be the United States District Judge for the Eastern District of Kentucky shall be brought to a close? The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Also Brooks, Ms. Baldwin, Mr. Banks, Mr. Barrasso.
Sorry, can you copy you? Whatever, 45. Okay. 48298316 48298316. Martin.
Control 1 image search 310A 1014 will 102 downtown Campus. 333 1014.
Terrible.
Yes, sir. Be advised, we did make contact. It's actually the gas crew. This is a construction company doing some drilling. They said that they purged the line and that the smell got diverted at the opposite end of the line they were purging. There's no danger here at this point.
Mr. Bennett, Mrs. Blackburn, Mr. Blumenthal, Ms. Blunt Rochester. Mr. Booker, Mr. Bozeman, Mrs. Britt, Mr. Budd, Ms. Cantwell. Mrs. Capito, Mr. Cassidy,
Go ahead.
Ms. Collins, Mr. Coons, Mr. Cornyn, Ms. Cortez Masto, Mr. Cotton, Mr. Kramer, Mr. Crapo, Mr. Cruz, Mr. Curtis, Mr. Daines, Ms. Duckworth, Mr. Durbin, Ms. Ernst, Mr. Fetterman, Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Gallego, Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mr. Haggerty, Ms. Hassan, Mr. Hawley, Mr. Heinrich, Mr. Hickenlooper, Ms. Hirono, Mr. Hoven, Mr. Husted, Mrs. Hyde-Smith, Mr. Johnson,
Listed at 2-5 with 7.
Mr. Justice,
Fuel at 4 board.
Control 126, 1015.
604, well.
4160, give me that minor. I think they're related. Okay, sir. Subject was advised stay off school property.
For today.
Kane, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kim, Mr. King, Ms. Klobuchar, Mr. Langford, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lujan, Ms. Lummis, Mr. Markey,
Langford? He's already on it.
Mr. Marshall,
4303.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. McConnell, Mr. McCormick,
Lamont Unit 010-110.
Mr. Merkley, Mrs. Moody, Mr. Moran, Mr. Marino, Mr. Mullen, Ms. Murkowski,
They're both there. I mean, it's 10A en route to
Mr. Murphy, Mrs. Murray, Mr. Ossoff, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Paul, Mr. Peters, Mr. Reed, Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Risch, Ms. Rosen, Mr. Rounds, Mr. Sanders, Mr. Schatz, Mr. Schiff, Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Schumer, Mr. Scott of Florida, Mr. Scott of South Carolina, Mrs. Shaheen, Mr. Sheehy, Ms. Slotkin, Ms. Smith, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Thune, Mr. Tillis, Mr. Tuberville, Mr. Van Hollen, Mr. Warner, Mr. Warnock, Ms. Warren, Mr. Welch, Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Wicker, Mr. Wyden, Mr. Young. Thank you.
That's 10-4 there now.
Let me see if I can find any.
604, round.
Senators voting in the affirmative: Barrasso, Blackburn, Budd, Capito, Cornyn, Kramer, Crapo, Curtis, Daines, Ernst, Graham, Grassley, Haggerty, Hoven, Husted, Hyde-Smith, Justice, Kennedy, Lummis, Marshall, McConnell, Moody, Marino, Paul, Ricketts, Risch, Schmidt, Scott of South Carolina, Sheehy, Tillis, Tuberville, Wicker, and Young. Senators voting in the negative: also Brooks, Bennett, Blumenthal, Blunt, Rochester, Booker, Durbin, Fetterman, Gallego, Hassan, Heinrich, Hickenlooper, Hirono, Kane, Kim, Murray, Padilla, Reed, Sanders, Schatz, Schiff, Warner, and Warren. Ms. Klobuchar, no. Mr. Moran, aye. Mr. Banks, aye. Mr. Markey, no. Mr. Peters, no. Mr. Cruz, aye. Mr. Cassidy, aye.
Federal service at Wright High School received. Dispatch engine 1 back in service in quarters.
Mrs. Fisher, aye.
Control 3. Control 143.
Mr. Rounds, aye.
For the pickup that I'm doing right now, the MHMR, is it on 14th Street pickup?
Control 1243 Adam, and around to Patrol 6 from College and Christi.
Mr. Thune, aye. Mr. Lujan, no.
Delta 245, were officers on the location already? Receive. 14 dispatch. You reassign me to the burglary call. I believe that's the 10th Street pickup, is it not?
10th Street? Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
all right.
Mr. Lee, aye. Miss Smith, no. Mr. Whitehouse,
Control 1 company utility, code 6, counter traffic.
Did y'all ever respond to that call for Trax and Bolenborg for the CIS property?
Yes, we took care of it. Are they calling back?
No, the call was still open. I'm not exactly sure why, but let me close that out. Delta 245, we will show you clear. And if you can be en route to the assist one on Morgan at 18th.
145, 132?
132.
Delta 245. Hey, Sarge, do you think we can use Kane at the intersection of Pistorius and...
Mr. Cotton, aye.
I'm coming at little 5
Well, I have an appointment earlier. I can probably do at 11.
Mr. Mullen, aye.
Control 1, dude.
That works for me.
10-9-11 911.
Is 50 user 1097, so second location.
Confirm code 30 or code 33?
Ms. Collins,
Code 33.
aye.
33 on the patch for the David unit.
Mr. Langford, aye.
33 on the patch for David unit. Louis, 4, go ahead.
Ms. Cantwell, no.
The last of Fernandez, first phonetic X-ray, Adam X-ray. Ida Lincoln, date of birth is 9/1/2009. Okay.
He's on the phone right now.
Over.
Ms. Duckworth, no.
Halo 5.
Mr. Scott of Florida, aye.
Give us 0 minutes. That's this main floorboard.
I did.
Delta 245 right.
Mr. Johnson, aye. Ms. Baldwin, no.
34 on the service.
10-4. 10-4. Okay, 10-4. I can check if 15 has phones if you need one. 10-4, who's the RP on our call?
just has an ID number. I'm not sure if they called.
David 50, we have one detained. Be clearing the residence.
I'm not sure if they called
One detained, clearing the residence.
174 or well, that's what they had on the.
Mrs. Britt, aye.
Dispatch, can you show brush 92 available in quarters, please?
Mr. Hawley, aye.
Control 1213.
Continue 1306743 at London. For black SUV, driven in the middle lane.
Juvenile supervision for 245 and I'll detail on the ID.
Patrol 3472.
11-10-4. 1737.
324. Be clear from county around back to the city.
Radio check.
Fully far from me, copy.
Mr. Wyden, no.
Call 230, we will take
Mr. Bozeman, aye.
5532, everybody's in 3?
330,
Best situation.
to the 702 South Parkwood. Section 14, disregard, will be related
Mr. Sullivan, aye.
Called in by Larissa, lot 57.
Mr. Merkley, no.
Name of Jerry, it's going to be in black. Dark blue Nissan Altima. The sun's going to be 11 years old.
That's 10-4. Nobody's been hit. Did advise that they already have a case number regarding the same subject.
Stallion 1, controlling.
Somebody will be out of main tagging. 202. 231.
202.
Delta 245. We're going to have to clear. Nobody here.
On the back.
Be advised, I just went inside gate 37. It was secure to get fuel. And there's some contractors that were locked in over there. They're painting the maintenance building. So I'm going to leave the gate open. I gave them Speedy's number. Told them to call whenever they're done. And if we can get somebody out here to secure it. I think the security guard locked him in.
Okay, so I'm here on 10th Street. The building's closed. On the address, it says 1546
Control 1, net 33.
Boulevard. But I can't get to it. There's some contractors in the construction. 10-4.
Control 1, check 274.
We're clear since we go forward and get on the radio. We're arriving on that 23.
33, 10-8.
You're not in the right spot. It's like further behind you.
421 call. Can you show me clear the courthouse and I'll be out of service?
Stallion 4, control.
36 locked in.
421, 4.
Stallion 4.
10 space, 2.
Mr. Warnock.
Control 1 North,
No.
580. Can you show me Kenny, please?
Mr. Schumer, no.
580, okay.
Mr. Ossoff, no. Mr. Welch, no. Mr. Kelly, no. Ms. Rosen, no. Mr. Coons, no.
Control 1, Chippewa Cannon, code 4.
Ms. Cortez Masto, no. Ms. Slotkin, no.
cancel the order for Maria.
Maria Gutierrez, NBC for time.
Case number 112, 112.
Mrs. Shaheen, no.
Control 243, bring around to...
Mr. McCormick, aye. Mr. King, no.
10-4. Sorry, at the station.
GA David 1, control.
This address to follow up to get with the...
Mr. Murphy, no.
10-4 in the area.
462, I'm going to be switching to channel 3 for the parade.
Okay.
Return to your
10-4.
Okay. On this vote, the ayes are 52, the nays 45. The motion's agreed to. The clerk will report to nomination.
Nomination Stephen Chad Meredith of Kentucky to be United States District Judge for the Eastern District of Kentucky.
Let me read. Go. Under the previous order, the clerk will report the next nomination.
Nomination the Judiciary, William W. Mercer of Montana to be United States District Judge for the District of Montana.
The question occurs on the nomination. Is there a sufficient second? There appears to be.
Out of task.
The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alsobrooks.
Last four has been 9183.
Thank you. You're an aye? Yep. Rish.
Yep.
Thanks.
Rish, aye.
Tuberville. Thank you.
Gillibrand. All right. Gillibrand.
Thank you. Not Rochester.
10-4.
Ms. Baldwin, Mr. Banks. Thank you.
Turn 10, control them.
Thank you.
Traffic, finish.
The residents, okay, that's it.
Turn 10, current 12, 602 at 6127 Cypress Avenue across from Mobile Drive. Suspects are inside of a red tag residence, arrived occupying a black Jeep Cherokee.
Okay, stop talking to me. Brasso.
Dave 50. First up to the white male, last name Smith, first name Sean, Sam Henry, Adam, William Nora, middle name of Dakota, DOB 01-23, 1995, 95, quick for second.
Delta 380, Delta 370 for that assist. Here's the Gasoline Square Shopping Center, 1001 3rd Street, 1001 3rd Street.
Stand by, Dave, if you go ahead with the second.
Second subject will be a white female, last name of Matthews, first name Tiffany, middle name of Dawn, David Adam William Nora, DOB 0904 198989.
10-4, Tempo David 2 tonight.
Advise again, over.
Mr. Bennett, Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Blumenthal, Ms. Blunt Rochester, Mr. Booker.
133-907, 133-907.
Can't well.
Confirm 11307.
It'll be 133-907, 133-907.
Mr. Blumenthal, Ms. Blunt Rochester, Mr. Booker, Mr. Bozeman.
1023.
Thank you. Mrs. Britt.
Tango 3, CMC for assignment.
Thank you.
Mr.
Bud.
I was going to have an individual.
Yes, I'm
It's not working properly.
Ms. Campbell, Mrs. Capita, Mr. Cassidy. Ms. Collins.
21 down, and also I got another
Mr. Coons.
turn on Carol Lane.
Thank you.
29 stables.
Charlie 4, making contact.
Carol Lane, then Gullah, right on Gullah, right on Stores, and
Thank you.
on route.
I'll be in contact with juvenile.
240, I'm going to shoot there.
Mr. Cornyn, Ms. Cortez Masto.
913.
Red 2, Red 8, CMC for keep the peace.
Mr. Cotton, Mr. Kramer.
If anything,
Copy, my copy.
I don't.
Tomorrow, are they going to have traffic?
Not yet. Mr. Crapo, Mr. Cruz.
1023 to dispatch.
Got him. Mr. Curtis, Mr. Daines. I got
1305 Charlie.
This one goes that 2 living, everything is available.
Employee number 120119, 120119, now being unit 3163. 1023, go ahead. 610 traffic.
Ms. Duckworth, Mr. Durbin, Ms. Ernst. Mr. Fetterman, Mrs. Fisher.
Ethan will reroute 1
Mr. Gallego, Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mr. Haggerty, Ms. Hassan, Mr. Hawley.
132 all units, go ahead and get into your position. Start blocking off traffic.
Yes, I do, sir. Please make sure you notify anybody at the
Mr. Heinrich, Mr. Hickenlooper.
They're full. Can't take on any more passengers.
Ms. Rono, Mr. Hoven.
Both 380, both units right.
Mr. Husted.
Tango 3
Mrs.
prior
Hyde
to
Smith.
1198 at the East Street location for North Central.
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Justice.
Tango 3, copy.
Mr. Kane, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kim, Mr. King, Ms. Klobuchar, Mr. Langford, Mr. Lee.
Location.
Mr. Lujan, Ms. Lummis, Mr. Markey.
Location.
Mr. Marshall, Mr. McConnell, Mr. McCormick, Mr. Merkley, Mrs. Moody, Mr. Moran.
619.
Mr. Marino, Mr. Mullen, Ms. Murkowski.
46
Mr. Murphy.
6432, who take me out of service, please, from Dr. Regional?
Mrs. Murray, Mr. Ossoff, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Paul, Mr. Peters, Mr. Reed, Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Risch.
Charlie 4, can you please discount SCJ?
Ms. Rosen, Mr. Rounds.
Ethan, for information, I'm on 1021 with the probation unit. They're advising the juvenile supervision is still current. We're accepting a location.
Mr. Sanders, Mr. Schatz, Mr. Schiff. Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Schumer, Mr. Scott of Florida, Mr. Scott of South Carolina, Mrs. Shaheen, Mr. Sheehy, Ms. Slotkin, Ms. Smith. Oh. Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Thune, Mr. Tillis, Mr. Tuberville, Mr. Van Hollen, Mr. Warner, Mr. Warnock, Ms. Warren, Mr. Welch, Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Wicker, Mr. Wyden, Mr. Young.
196, 132, Buccaneer in Texas, and Texan is secure.
87. Victor and Tom Nora, 8887. 1409.
Senators voting in the affirmative. Banks, Barrasso, Blackburn, Bozeman, Britt, Budd, Capito, Cassidy, Collins, Cornyn, Cotton, Kramer, Cruz, Curtis, Daines, Ernst, Fisher, Graham, Grassley, Haggerty, Hawley, Husted, Heidsmith, Johnson, Justice, Kennedy, Lankford, Lee, Lummis, Marshall, McConnell, McCormick, Moody, Moran, Marino, Mullen, Paul, Ricketts, Risch, Rounds, Schmidt, Scott of Florida, Scott of South Carolina, Sheehy, Sullivan, Thune, Tillis, Tuberville, Wicker, and Young. Senators voting in the negative. Alsobrooks, Baldwin, Bennett, Blumenthal, Blunt Rochester, Booker, Cantwell, Cortez Masto, Duckworth, Durbin, Fetterman, Gallego, Gillibrand, Hassan, Hickenlooper, Hirono, Kane, Kelly, Kim, King, Klobuchar, Lujan, Markey, Merkley, Murray, Ossoff, Padilla, Peters, Reed, Rosen, Sanders, Schatz, Schiff, Schumer, Shaheen, Slatkin, Smith, Warnock, Warren, Welch, and Wyden. Mr. Crapo, aye. Hoven, aye.
Can you perform, Mr. Kinsey, please?
I got a 1090 at 700 West Adams, 700 West Adams. No contacts, key holder.
27 of A. Do we pick up in the front, or can we circle around and come back the other way?
2309.
303 out of service.
Adam 230, case number. He's at the office.
915.
Do you want me to pick up in the front or circle around the building?
Right by the office.
He's by the office in the front.
4409 Brooks. It'll be 1042, Stone Garden.
10-4, thank you.
Staples and Texan Trail.
Mr. Whitehouse, no.
132, 10-4.
143,
Water and Robinson is good.
Okay, so I'm checking for 15 Bevel and Douglas in Northchester. It'll be on the east side of Oil and Douglas in the alleyway between Highland Cafe and Douglas. It'll be for transient couple, possibly in a 415 verbal. The female was heard saying, "Stop hitting me." There's possibly 3 subjects to 97. There's a white female with blonde hair, a white male, and they're possibly also in company of a 905 Douglas in Rochester.
Complete copy en route from East Side. 113 Adam, route for line.
No, I didn't. You're right, sir. Okay, and now let's take a left on Galahar.
Control 1, take a landing, Casino.
Right on Staples, right next to regular route.
Okay.
Adam 220, clear. Give me that hazard outline.
Mr. Coons, no. Mr. Murphy, no. Okay, that's 96.
10-4.
Communications to Airport 61.
I have customers in front of me. That's not so funny.
Could you give me a call here?
61.
I got you. 10-4.
Control 1, 10-7, cancel 03, all hands.
07, copy.
2, 10-7.
And I'm going to have the parties separated, one left. And then I'm going to be giving an adult female
316-1041.
and her children a courtesy right to Wiggins. 10-4.
Dispatch to 79.
130, 27. 10-4, 27.
Control on North David 3.
That's unit 10-9, I'm landline. Last unit 10-9.
Control on North David 3. Can you start medical for 1015 complaining of high blood pressure?
Matthews, no stops, negative probation, 27 valid, and I'll you tell them your subject, Smith.
Yes, I'm here on Staples, about to cross the road. They're having some kind of parade and they're rerouting us on Corpus stores, looks like.
Control 1, Roger. Can you update the call to a 7?
Yes, sir, you were given a detour.
Yes, sir.
I didn't see it on the screen. You have to validate the message. You must have validated it and not read it. 10-4.
10-5, 10-9, your traffic on landline.
10-4.
Control 1, Temple 5, 10-8.
What's your name?
Control 1, Stallion 4, 1097.
Stallion 4, 1097.
Location?
Alright, yeah, right. 1001. Control 100, Corpus.
Keep out the item, MBC for assignment.
2 the item, copy.
Keep out 360.
Contact Ada or Ida.
Control 1, 2 3, code 4.
Wait, good work.
Control 1, Day 11, code 4.
Okay.
Mr. Warner, no.
Control 1, check your landing. Copy my notes for broadcast.
Engine 20.
Control on Certified Fire GLB 1097 on papers.
10-4.
David 3, I added Miss LAR to the text.
Just about 155 left.
Medical out.
10-4.
Engine 5 shows responding to squad.
Delta 2.
Go ahead.
Just advising of an unknown man down 3505 Leopard Street, 3505 Leopard. Advising of a male wearing all white, not moving, on the side of HUD. We currently do have the fire department around.
Okay, go ahead.
Making it.
10-4. Considering this copy is still on travel trailer information. Review license plate boy 505110. Turns to a 2023 Prowler travel trailer, white and black in color. Sold from 159 Naval Air Station, Authority Route Patrol 4800. Alright, here we go, guys, here we go. 395, step 9 progress, 45,
On this
49,
vote,
Elvira
the
Drive,
yeas
4549
52,
Elvira.
the nays 45, the nomination is confirmed. Under the previous order, the motion to reconsider is considered made and laid upon the table, and the President will be immediately notified of the sentence actions.
Mr. President,
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to legislative session, being a period of morning business with senators permitted to speak therein for up to 10 minutes each.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I have 7 requests for committees to meet during today's session of the Senate. They have the approval of the majority and minority leaders.
Let's be in order. Duly noted.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that notwithstanding Rule 22 at a time to be determined by the majority leader following consultation with the Democratic leader no later than Friday, discharge the Committee on Finance of S.J. Res. 88, and the Senate proceed to its consideration. Further, that there be up to 6 hours for debate only on the joint resolution with the time equally divided between the leaders of the designees, and that following the use or yielding back of that time, the joint resolution be considered read a third time and the Senate vote on the resolution.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I understand that there are 3 bills at the desk and ask for their reading in block.
The clerk will read the titles of the bills for the first time.
S-3030, a bill making continuing appropriations for government shutdown and for other purposes. S-3031, a bill making continuing appropriations for essential federal aviation administration and transportation security and operations in the event of a federal government shutdown and for other purposes. S-3032, to extend the authority for protection of certain facilities and assets from unmanned aircraft.
President, I now ask for a second reading and I object to my own request, all in block.
Objection is heard. The bills will be read for the second time on the next legislative day.
Mr. President, I move to adjourn until 7:03 p.m. today.
The question's on the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
No. All opposed, no. The ayes clear to have it.
I was out there earlier.
The ayes do have it.
5842.
The motion's agreed to.
It's in the park. It's in the main line.
The Senate stands adjourned until 7:03.
Eagle 43 situation.
Eagle 43, code 4.
The Senate will come to order. The clerk will read a communication to the Senate.
Washington, D.C., October 22nd, 2025. To the Senate, under the provisions of Rule 1 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, I hereby appoint the Honorable James C. Justice, a senator from the state of West Virginia, to perform the duties of the chair. Signed, Chuck Grassley, President pro tempore.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the morning hour be deemed expire, the journal proceedings be approved today at the time for the 2 leaders be reserved for use later in the day, and that the Senate be in a period of morning business with senators permitted to speak thereon for up to 10 minutes each.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I understand that there are 3 bills at the desk due for the second reading.
The leader is correct. The clerk will read the titles of the bills for the second time.
S-3030, a bill making continuing appropriations for military pay in the event of a government shutdown and for other purposes. S-3031, a bill making continuing appropriations for essential federal aviation administration and so forth and for other purposes. S-3032, a bill to extend the authority for the protection of certain facilities and assets from unmanned aircraft.
Mr. President, in order to place the bills on the calendar under the provisions of Rule 14, I would object to further proceeding in block.
The leader is correct. I'm sorry. Objection is heard, so the bills will be placed on the calendar under Rule 14.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that when the Senate completes its business today, it stand adjourned until 10 a.m. on Thursday, October the 21st. Third, following the prayer and pledge, the journal proceedings be approved today at the morning hour be deemed expired. The time for 2 leaders be reserved for the use later in the day, and the Senate be in a period of morning business, the senators permitted to speak therein for up to 10 minutes each, and notwithstanding Rule 22, the cloture motion with respect to the motion to proceed to calendar number 191, S-3012, ripen at 12:15 p.m. Further, following disposition of that vote, the Senate execute the order of October the 22nd in relation to the Meredith nomination. Find that cloture motion with respect to the Tableson nomination ripen following disposition of the Meredith nomination.
Without objection.
Mr. President, there's no further business to come before the Senate. I ask that it stand adjourned under the previous order.
The Senate stands adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Control 1, check 11, send me the VFS 22.
Man 1 by CDL.
Stand by on my 911.
Really 270 for hit and run call.
Control 1 Pulse 297.
Policy wasn't pushing, so contact mother. That might be the nothing here. Let me find out.
Charlie 265 area.
973-0000. Return to white male, got the first versus Russell.
Number. Any other unit?
Where's she at?
Near the football field in a white SUV and has the hash lights on.
317-1042. Okay, 10-4. And how old was she?
More than 20.
Control 1 Pulse 326 on 3.
Control 326 on 3. Did you want the channel?
Yoki is parked in a white small SUV that has a football field against a fence.
Control 1, Control 0, 1045, all handle.
10-4.
To Johnson, good post.
Control 4, you to us.
Three 24, 1042.
143 information. The second half has fire at 148.
18,
Copy. Temple 1, control.
Temple 1, go ahead.
Control 1, Temple 5, put me on, check the welfare.
Oh, 143 Adam. Cooper is in the south, fire 148 ideally.
Charlie.
Over the copy.
And I don't know that bus making around you?
Charlie 380.
Norton, 9-3.
Current 3 to their side.
Pressure to Caroline and Ryan Morgan. Work out team 1.
Go ahead, Chris.
1810.
Curtis Sender to a maritime 2 for CDC and HNS. Negative probation. Place down.
The ayes do have it. The motion's agreed to. The Senate stands adjourned until
10-4, 1810.
Engine 12, I'll show you available and